advantage, took hold of their Islamic faith, of their strong Islamic faith, as an instrument for subduing the rest of Nigeria. That's what they had used to suppress the Hausa people. So they decided to use it now to suppress the rest of Nigeria. Meanwhile, Christianity had spread in the middle belt of the north and in the south, southeast and southwest, the homeland of predominantly the Yoruba and the Igbo people. But the Fulani were determined to make that kind of fundamentalist and jihadist Islam roll over the whole of Nigeria. Their spokespersons constantly talked of they are going to conquer until they have dipped the Quran in the sea on the coast, on the Atlantic coast of Nigeria. 11 days after the independence, after the celebration of independence, their leader, Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, said to a newspaper, to a local newspaper, this new country called Nigeria shall be an extension, listen carefully, shall be an extension of the estate of our great-grandfather Osman Danfodio. We must use the peoples of the middle belt, that is the middle belt part of the north, as willing tools, and the highly educated peoples of the south, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Ijaw, and so on, as conquered territory, and never let them rule over us, and never let them control their own future. Nigeria was to become an extension of the estate of Osman Danfodio. What was the estate of Osman Danfodio? Conquest by Islam, by fundamentalist jihadist Islam, period. So the whole of Nigeria was to be rolled over by Islam. And that is the agenda that they have been pursuing since then. As soon as Nigeria became independent, the northern rulers of Nigeria decided that the first enemy to be handled, the first enemy to be subdued, were the Yoruba of the southwest, who are the most educated people in Nigeria, the largest single ethnic group, the people who had produced Africa's first program of free education and so on. But they were in danger. They were an enemy from two perspectives. The first is that they were a people, they are still a people, who have a tradition of religious tolerance, which has created a situation in which there were millions of Christians and millions of Muslims and millions of traditional worshippers among the Yoruba people. An American team that studied Nigeria, that did some research on Nigeria for an agency of the American government, wrote in 2003, the Yoruba are a model of modern coexistence and tolerance, because we found Yoruba Christians, Muslims, and traditional worshippers living harmoniously and happily, not only in the same towns, but in the same households. That's who the Yoruba people were. But that kind of culture was a danger to the Islamic agenda of the Fulani, because it meant that the Fulani, that the Muslims among the Yoruba could never become jihadists or fundamentalists or terrorists, no way. There is hardly any Yoruba family that does not have some Muslims, some Christians, some traditional worshippers. And so to get a Yoruba man to agree to wage war, the war of Islam, a jihad against his own people, is impossible. And so the Northerners regarded the Yoruba people, Muslims and all, as a danger to the Islamizing program. And moreover, among the Yoruba, the largest and most powerful denominations of Christian denominations and groups were emerging among the Yoruba. And so that added to the feeling that the Yoruba were a special danger to the program of Islamization. The Gotu in the East are almost all Roman Catholics. Muslims were few among them. And so they too were a danger to the Islamic agenda. And the Islamic agenda actually meant that the Fulani will control all of Nigeria, not just the federal government, but all of Nigeria. And so the first group to be subdued were the Yoruba. In 1962, by deceiving and manipulating with the help of the British, the Fulani succeeded in dividing the Yoruba leadership and causing a crisis in the Western region. And even though there were no riots or disturbances in the Western region, the federal government under the Fulani then declared a state of emergency in the Western region with the objective of pulling down the Western region. They suspended the constitution of the Western region, suspended the elected government of the Western region, and imposed a sole administrator on the Western region, and proceeded systematically to pull down the achievements of the Western region. And also to rig the election in the Western region in order to put in charge of the Western region persons who were inclined to be submissive to the Fulani. So my brothers, educated people like me, and businessmen, and the Yoruba elite in general, you are getting this, who are getting this message wrong, who are not getting this picture correctly, should begin to educate themselves and get it correctly. This is a forever kind of war against the Yoruba people. It will never stop. And the Fulani themselves say it anyway. We are ready to fight this war forever. We are ready to fight it for decades, for centuries, until we win, until we dip the Quran in the sea, until we turn every one of these people into jihadist, fundamentalist Islamists. The same thing with the Igbo. The same thing with the Igbo in the south. And the Edo, the highly civilized kingdom of the Edo people. And the hundreds of smaller nationalities in the Middle Belt. Even under the first government of the Republic, after independence, it was quite common for the premier to lead jihadist sorties into the Middle Belt in order to subdue the Middle Belt and make the Middle Belt the willing tools of the North, of the Fulani. And so here we are, then the manipulations and the distortions in the Southwest led to ultimately a Yoruba revolt in 1965 to January 1966. Because the revolt was shaking the foundations of the country. A group of young Yoruba and Igbo soldiers, officers in the army, decided to take over the government. And the North reacted with a pogrom for eliminating southern citizens living in the north, most of them Igbo, and within weeks killed more than 40,000 Igbo people in the streets of the towns of the north. The Igbo fled, most of the Igbo then fled to their own region in the southeast. And when they could not get any assurance that they will be safe in Nigeria, they decided to secede from Nigeria. And so the federal government declared war on the Igbo, on what was then called Biafra. The Igbo had said that their new country will be called Biafra. And in that civil war, more than 2 million Igbo people died. The war lasted for 30 months. When it was over, what had happened is that the hold of the northern Fulani had become stronger on the country. And so a series of military coups organized by Fulani officers ruled Nigeria from 1966 July until 1999, with a brief period of civilian rule in 1979 to 83. And what did these military rulers actually try to do? We all say usually that the centralized government in Nigeria. No, that's not all. They were centralizing government in Nigeria in order to increase the power of the Fulani over Nigeria. Yeah. In the southwest, for instance, in the homeland of the Yoruba, they took over everything of importance. They took over the university that the Yoruba people had created. They took over the roads. They took over development projects. They took over, for instance, the great asset of the Yoruba people, the cocoa marketing board, and turned it into from Western Nigeria Cocoa Marketing Board, it became Nigeria Cocoa Marketing Board. And they appointed a northerner as chairman of the Cocoa Marketing Board, a chairman who had never seen a cocoa tree in all his life. Then they took some of the estates that the Yoruba people had established in Ikeja and Papa and so on, and handed it over to individuals, some of them northerners. That's what happened. And they destroyed the rest of the economy of the Yoruba. The large plantation of palm trees in Okitipupa were allowed to be abandoned, more or less, because the federal government, under these military rulers, believed that they should not allow the Yoruba to return to the position of high development that they had achieved before independence. So everything was abandoned. Everything was taken over and abandoned. The palm tree, the huge palm tree plantation in Okitipupa, perhaps the largest palm tree plantation on earth in the world, was abandoned. The factory that produced oil from it was also abandoned. The large rubber plantation to the west of Okitipupa was also abandoned. The second largest rubber plantation in Africa, and so too was the citrus plantation in Ijebu. So the Western region's economy was systematically dragged down. The Western Nigeria Development Corporation, which had been the largest single agglomeration of investment capital in Africa, was gradually pulled down. And the result The result is that the products of the free education in the Yoruba West became unemployed masses of educated young people. And large numbers of them began to flee abroad. The same kind of disasters were also befalling the Igbo and other peoples of the East. And many of them also began to flee abroad. That's where countries like the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom have received large influxes of immigrant educated men from Nigeria, mostly of Yoruba descent and to a smaller extent of Igbo descent. Having succeeded that far, the Fulani finally decided we have to conquer this country fully. We have succeeded politically. Now we must succeed in actual fact. So from about the last years of the 1990s, they began to hold secret meetings with Fulani leaders from other parts of West Africa. By 2011, they had come to the conclusion that they could conquer Nigeria. And what they were going to use were the Mujahideen. Mujahideen means masses of illiterate paupers, trained and armed and turned into soldiers, militias, militarized poor, the Mujahideen. And it is they who have been ravaging Nigeria since 2015. When our brothers began to work with Buhari's party in 2013 and so on, they were doing what appeared to them to be a good thing, trying to save Nigeria. But they did not know that they were empowering the Islamic Fulani in a new manner over Nigeria. And under Buhari, it quickly became clear that he was there to see to it that the Fulani actually conquered and controlled Nigeria. And so large numbers of people began to get killed. Farmers were expelled from their farms or killed on their farms. Their wives were raped, their daughters were raped and killed. In Yoruba land in the southwest, agriculture essentially died because almost all the farmers fled. But the Western world was supporting the Fulani and propagating the lie that what was happening in Yoruba land and Igbo land and so on was climate change, droughts in the Sahel that was pushing Fulani herdsmen south, causing conflicts with farmers. It's a lie. It was a plan to conquer the southwest and the southeast of Nigeria. We don't have an estimate of the number of Yoruba people that were killed or the Igbo people that were killed under Buhari. But some young men, some Yoruba young men gathered together and did some research and came to the conclusion that in the 8 years of the Buhari administration, and the Buhari administration was openly, manifestly complicit in the attacks and killings of people, that in those years, 8 years, 2015 to 2023, a total of 29,000 Yoruba people were killed. The attempt was to impose on Yoruba land a radical Islamic agenda. Attempts were made particularly on churches. For instance, in 2023, I think, 2022, the Fulani terrorists burst upon a church, a large Roman Catholic church in the city, the Yoruba city of Owo, and they killed a total of 87 people. They just burst upon the church and began to shoot. Men, women, old women, children were killed. 87 in all. The newspaper said 40 something. No, it was not that. It was a total of 87 people were killed in that church that morning. People who were serving their God. And so, this is what we have been living with. And we have now decided we cannot continue to live with this. Why? Because under Buhari, 1815 to 1823, the government was actually supporting the killings. Yeah. A middle belt official, public retired official, military official, who used to be Minister for Defense, Nigeria's Minister of Defense, came out in 2021 or 2022 to say that the Nigerian army was not protecting the people being attacked, but was giving cover to the people who were attacking. And our experience in the South and the Middle Belt is that if the Fulani jihadist comes to your farm and and you are able to defend yourself and so on, and the Fulani man is to die there, then you will be arrested and be charged with murder. It is not considered that you were peacefully walking on your farm with your wife and children when the Fulani came. Among the Yoruba, the highest traditional citizens are the Obas. At least 5 Obas have been killed by the Fulani. 5 Obas of the Yoruba people have been killed by Fulani. In one case, the Fulani burst into the palace all armed and gathered the Oba together with his wife and children and told them, "We are kidnapping you, we are taking you away." The Oba said, "No, you cannot take me away, it's impossible." And they killed him on the spot and took his wife and children away into captivity in the forest. The Yoruba politicians listened to their people. In 2020, I was one of the people who went to the governors of the Western region, of the Southwest, of the Yoruba Southwest. I told them, we must not allow our young people to go and confront these Fulani barbarians in the bush. Our young people are all products of higher education. Our parents have invested heavily on education for these young people. It will be a tragedy for the Yoruba nation to see them perish in the bush, fighting barbarian, illiterate mujahideen. So our governors agreed with us, graciously agreed together to create an institution that the state will use to protect its people, and they called it Amateku. The federal government immediately also said Amateco was an unconstitutional creation and must be disbanded. Well, Amateco is no longer of any value today in the defense of Yoruba land. And so, we come to the era of a new presidency. I need to add before I go on to this new presidency, that in order to make sure that not only is agriculture destroyed in the southwest, the Yoruba southwest, but that the Yoruba southwest will not be able to get food from other Yorubas who are living beyond the border in Benin Republic. The government of President Buhari closed the borders. And we all saw on television Yoruba women traders begging at the border to be allowed to carry through their yams and gari and rice and so on. We also saw Nigerian officials, Nigerian military officials, or policemen, or border guards go into marketplaces in the areas close to the border and seize the merchandise being sold by Yoruba women. The idea behind all of this was to make sure that the Yoruba will be prostrate on their face. Yeah. Then 2023 came and another president was installed. They tried to stop him, even though he was a major creator of their party. They tried to stop him, but he was too strong for them. And he became president. But his reign, his leadership as president has shown that nobody, that the federal government of Nigeria, under anybody, no matter where you come from, cannot deal with the Fulani. You cannot deal with the Fulani. The Fulani are still killing and maiming and destroying as they said they would do. There is a statistic that has come out in this last December that in the first 12 months of the Tinubu presidency, from May 2023 to April 2024, a total of 614,000 Nigerians were killed by the terrorists. 614,500 and something. And out of this 614,000, nearly 16,000, that is 15,962 Yoruba people were killed. The presidency of Buhari had been complicit, had been actually helping the Fulani. The presidency of Tinubu is not helping the Fulani, but they are not able to do anything against the Fulani, to stop the Fulani. They are not. And so we have come to the painful conclusion that it doesn't matter if our brother is president of Nigeria, the institutions of Nigeria, the direction of Nigeria is so well structured that even a Yoruba president of Nigeria cannot defend the Yoruba part of Nigeria. And the president of Nigeria cannot defend the Igbo part of Nigeria. It's as simple as that. And so we have decided this is the point at which we must take our leave of Nigeria. We must take our leave. When President Tinubu arose as president of Nigeria, we wrote him a letter, just as we had written a letter to Buhari before. And our main point in the letter was We are a peaceful, civilized people. We don't want to continue under this barbarism anymore. We want you, Mr. President, to set up a process whereby we can negotiate with the authorities of Nigeria our peaceful departure from Nigeria, our peaceful separation from Nigeria. Buhari did not answer. We wrote exactly the same letter demanding the same things to President Tinubu, our brother, and he has not answered us. So we are left with no option than to find other means of taking our leave out of Nigeria. And so we're telling the whole world, Nigeria is a country where a civilized Christian people cannot live. You cannot live there. No. Christian people cannot live. Here is a country in which our young men would defend their fathers on the farm and defend their mothers on the farm against the Fulani, and one Fulani may die and so on. And the police will come and arrest our boys. And when the Fulani people come and kill 20, 30, 40, 100 people in a village or in some villages, nobody goes after them. If a Yoruba group, a Yoruba village or an Igbo village is successful in actually holding a Fulani invader, attacking their village, they are able to overpower and hold them, not kill them. The police will come and take the Fulani away. And then the next thing you will hear is that they have been ordered by the higher authorities in Abuja to transfer the case from where offense was committed to Abuja. And that's the last we are going to hear about the case. The Fulani will not suffer. A young woman was traveling on the road in Yoruba land, in the southwest, the daughter of one of our highest citizens in Yoruba land. The Fulani came out of the bush and shot her in her car and killed her. And so we all mourned and wept and so on. But about a month later, the local farmers identified the Fulani who had killed the girl, and 4 of them were arrested. And we heard that, they have been charged to court. But nothing has happened to them. We've never heard of the case since then. And the Fulani are not doing their havoc only in the bush, they're also doing it in the cities. In one
gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èrè wá jọ wá lójú lápapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation will stand. Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èrè wá jọ wá lójú.
Ó ṣe bí ó ṣe ṣeun
Yorùbá nation
ní èmi àti yín.
Àgbègbè fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjìrè bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ Emeritus Professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkí, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
yàtọ̀ sí kó yàgbẹ́ bá mo dé láláwọ̀ dúdú láṣẹ ní àpárá.
tẹ̀lé lórí so gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́bá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àtìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò faramọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
èdè wa jọ wá lójú lápárapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation must stand. ẹ pé kò ó Sunday mi ẹ pé kò ó Sunday mi o agbógun má ti di akọni nínú èèyàn o. ẹ pé kò ó Sunday mi akọni tó ń yọni léwu tó ń gbani sílẹ̀ lójú ogun. òun náà pè lálágbára. mo mewé mo meko mo lóògùn tó ń jẹ níwọ̀n bá ní ó ṣe níwájú ìbò. lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ àtìyá o Yorùbá rẹ̀ náà lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́. ṣé lákọ̀ọ́ni kò lẹ̀ sí lówó fún un tún téèyàn ṣe ìṣesí ẹbí takọni náà ni.
ẹ jẹ́ a jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta ká ṣe kí ni o kàtúyàyà let's come out and showcase ourselves kò yẹ yín ẹ̀yin.
ọmọ ńlá mo gbé mú Sunday ìbò òòṣà owó bàbá dá mi bóyá tí mo bá ní kò òòṣà.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n sì ń ti àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ tí wọ́n kì í ní mẹ́sàn-án mẹ́wàá ṣùgbọ́n nínú àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìbéèrè tí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń béèrè ní orí afẹ́fẹ́ yìí ni wípé bàbá a mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin nìkan lẹ dúró tì wá kí ni ọ̀nà àbáyọ ohun tí wọ́n fẹ́ mọ̀ ni pé a mọ̀ pé nǹkan yìí ti ṣẹlẹ̀ a ti bá ìtàn a ti bá àrọ́bá a ti mọ ìtàn ẹ ti jẹ́ kó yé wa ibi tá a ti ń bọ̀ ibi tá a ti dé kí tún lókù tá a tẹ̀síwájú kí sì tún ní ọ̀nà àbáyọ tí kìíní yìí tí òfin lò ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ nítorí pé tí wọ́n bá jọ wò ó láì jẹta àbí jẹrin yìí àbí last week yìí òun ni wọ́n ṣe ìdájọ́ ẹni tí a mọ̀ sí Sunday Williams yìí bóyá ọmọ Amẹ́ríkà ni a mọ̀ Fúlàní lọ bá nínú gbó ó sì Fúlàní yìnbọn mọ́ Fúlàní lẹ lóko Fúlàní yìnbọn ṣùgbọ́n ó rí i pé òun kọ́ńkà Fúlàní yìí ó wá fi dá òun ó fi pa òun ìdà tí Fúlàní mú wá láti wá fi pa òun náà ni arákùnrin yìí ló fi pa Fúlàní padà wọ́n sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà yìí òun ni wọ́n tún wá dá ẹjọ́ kú fún onítọ̀hún. Now let us look at it this way. In Nigeria constitution allow what to call a self-defense.
gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú lápárapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation must stand. gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú lápárapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation must stand.
à ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ emeritus Professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkí agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
tẹ̀lé lórí so gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́bá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àtìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò faramọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
agbógun má ti di akọni nínú èèyàn o. ẹ pé kó Sunday mi akọni tó ń yọni léwu tó ń gbani sílẹ̀ lójú ogun. òun náà pè lálágbára. mo mewé mo meko mo lóògùn tó ń jẹ níwọ̀n bá ní ó ṣe níwájú ìbò. lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́ àtìyá o Yorùbá rẹ̀ náà lẹ́lẹ́ ni ó máa fẹ́. ṣé lákọ̀ọ́ni kò lẹ̀ sí lówó fún un tún téèyàn ṣe
ẹ jẹ́ a jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta kí a ṣe ṣe kí ni o kàtúyàyà let's come out and showcase ourselves kò yẹ yín ẹ̀yin.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no
men and women who want their own country separate from Nigeria have come to the limit. What has been happening in the past week or two actually demonstrates that it is foolish for us to expect that any change will ever occur in Nigeria. About 3 weeks ago, the Islamic North tried to enforce Sharia law in the Yoruba Southwest. And when the Yoruba people, Muslims rejected it, and we must be grateful to our Muslim brothers, Yoruba people. When they rejected it, then the Sultan wrote an insulting letter demanding that they must obey him and set up Sharia courts in Yoruba land. And when the Muslims are sat back to say, no, you have no authority over us, then they made the announcement that now a full-scale jihad now starts in the Southwest. And they have been killing people right, left, and center all over the Western region, all over the Southwest ever since. A few days ago, 5 or 6 days ago, they went to a group of villages near Akure and killed about 42 people. If anybody is hoping that this thing will change, will go away, forget it. Our educated people, I can understand, I'm one of you. We want to wait and watch and see what will happen. But I'm telling you that what will happen is that this thing will get worse and worse until it will reach you in your own homes. The Fulani actually declared war in January 2024, on January 24 and January 26, in which they threatened, among other things, that they were coming to inflict particularly painful suffering upon the Yoruba people. That they were going to go to Asorok, take Asorok from the federal government and use Asorok as the base from which to conquer the rest of Nigeria. Don't make a mistake of thinking that this will come to an end. My brothers, I beg of you, stop thinking that it will come to an end. That it's a temporary thing. We educated people tend to rationalize that it will come to, it will not come to an end. It started from the beginning. It's getting bigger and bigger and worse. And a day is coming when no Yoruba man or woman will be able to walk the streets the way things are going. And that includes you. A day is coming when your children will no longer be able to go to school. A day is coming when your wife will not be able to go to the market to buy things for your kitchen. And that includes our obas, the traditional rulers of our people. We can understand why our traditional rulers are, that's the nature. You are supposed to be the thinkers for society, civilized, obeying people, great rulers. It's okay to maintain the tradition. But when your house is in danger, when the whole house is now burning, it doesn't make sense to keep away from the struggle. And so my purpose Now, my conclusion now is that I appeal to all Yoruba people. I do not have to appeal to the young people anymore. They've made up their mind that final behind them. And large numbers of educated people like me are now beginning to come out to stand before them and behind them also. I am appealing to the rest, especially to those of you who have political influence in Nigeria. Come out and support your people and take your country from Nigeria and constitute it into the kind of country that you want. All of you, former governors, former legislators, former civil servants, come out and support your people and take your country from Nigeria and then constitute it into the kind of country that is good for you and your people. There is no wisdom hoping against hope. There is no wisdom living in the same, sleeping in the same bed with an enemy. Stop hoping. Stop hoping that someday it will change for the better. Nigeria will not change for the better. All the time, and it is changing for the worse and the worse and the worse. And you know that what I'm saying is true. We are all in it. They went so far, for instance, at the beginning of this kill and kidnap thing, that they kidnapped one of the highest citizens of the Yoruba people in Nigeria, Chief Olufalaye, former secretary to the federal government of Nigeria. And they took him into the bush and the rain for 4 days before he was lucky to have been ransomed and released. I was in America the day I had the news. With some young men around me, I hurried to Nigeria. To Nigeria the day after he was released, and I saw him. I burst into it. They had brutalized him severely. There were on his arms. They treat such an important person among us like that, and we let it be, and we say we continue with Nigeria. My people, don't let us get to the point at which the world will laugh at us as shameless people. Let us liberate our nation and get out. Our young people are ready to take their nation. Let our older and more established citizens join them now. It is the time to act. It is lives. The time is here, and your young people have decided. Oh, there is a question. Our brother Tinubu is president. Yes, we love him. He's one of us. Our duty to every one of our own people is to love them. We love him. We are even proud of his prowess in the politics of Nigeria. We are proud of him. He has chosen to spend his life seeking elevation in the politics of Nigeria is not what we want. That's not what we Yoruba people want. Yoruba people don't need the president of Nigeria. Yoruba people need their freedom. They need their peace of mind. They need to be able to go to their farms and make farms. They need to be able to send their children to school with peace of mind. They need to have their women going into the market to buy things with peace of mind. They need their society to be orderly. They don't want to hear from time to time that people have been killed there, people have been killed there, a number of people have been wiped out there. The Yoruba people don't want that. And so the answer is, we take our country and leave Nigeria. We are not doing it against Tinubu. Not at all. No Yoruba man will say, we won't do that. No, we don't hate our own, but our own is not is engaged in a venture that has become inappropriate for us as a people. And so we will take our lead from Nigeria. Thank you very much. I repeat, let us all come out and support our boys who want their country out of Nigeria. The time is now, it's not tomorrow. The time is now. And may God bless the Yoruba nation. Thank you very much.
Lọ́wọ́ yín bàbá, ẹ ṣé àdúpẹ́. Kí bàbá tún máa lọ ní àfikún ẹ̀rí, we are talking about the way they want to Islamize the whole Nigerian. And then the Sultan of Sokoto wrote a letter, said, tí kì bá ṣe àwọn Igbo, òun ò bá ti Islamize Nigeria pé kò sí nǹkan tí Yorùbá fẹ́ ṣe. Then, they follow the constitution because the Nigeria constitution under section 10 says, the federal government don't have the right láti impose religion léèyàn lórí. Let me read it according to that constitution. It said, section established in Nigeria as a secular state. Secular state is Nigeria by prohibiting both the federal and the state government. Look at it, both the federal and the state government. Go and read it by yourself. That is section 10 of Nigerian 1999 constitution. Said this, that a Nigerian is a secular state by prohibiting both the federal and the state government from adopting any religion as the official religion. As the official religion, and then the subsection 2 says that it is ensures that the federal government remain natural in religious matter and does not favor any one religion over another. Now today, we could barely see or clearly see that our own religion as Yoruba is being paralyzed. Now they want to enforce the other religion on us, the religion that is not our land, the religion tí ò ṣe tiwa, tí ìṣàwálání, tí ìṣàwálàgbà, and then ó fẹ́ force ẹ̀ lé wa lórí. Despite pé a sọ wípé no. Now look at what happened. Because we rejected Sharia religion, then what happened? They started killing our people and they will fold our hand. This is not the way that we need to fold our hand. This is the time that we need to come. And the people have been come out. I want the street. I want to force it, but it is not enough. We should shut that country for the federal government to know that this is really serious and it calls for immediate attention. Then we need to focus on the purpose that kini kan lawati obeti èèyàn bá ti di ojú méjì, wọ́n ní tí àdá bá ti di ojú méjì ó ti di ọ̀bẹ nìyẹn. Àdá la ní, which is we want our nation. We don't want any other nation except our nation. Kò sí tẹ́lẹ̀ ṣe Nàìjíríà ò lè dáa. Kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe fẹ́ ṣe kò lè dáa rárá, wọ́n máa dàrú sí ni. Because now ṣe wọ́n tán mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ sexual ni wọ́n mójútó, wọ́n gbéra wọn lọ sí UN. That is a problem in the land. If the Senate don't even get themselves right and they do the right things, they are doing nonsense. What about the rep? So it is shown that Nigeria is a game play, and then we all need to play the game the way they want. And then what we want is our own nation. Olódùmarè yóò ṣe wá lọ́wọ́. Bàbá a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín fún omi ọgbọ́n àti omi ìmọ̀ àti omi òye ilé tẹ̀lé fún wa ní àṣálẹ́ yìí. Mo sì mọ̀ pé àwọn tí wọ́n ń wò wá pé wọ́n gbádùn yín, wọ́n sì ti rí nǹkan mú lọlé. Mo dẹ̀ gbọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin wa tí ẹ ń wò wá, ẹ dákun bá wa share fídíò yìí. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin náà tí ẹ sì jẹ́ mídíà náà tí ẹ darapọ̀ wá, àwọn fídíò yìí òun náà ni ò jẹ́ ká lọ download ẹ̀. Ẹ tún bá wa replay ẹ̀ lórí péjì tiyín náà kó lè go viral, kó lè dé ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn. A mọ̀ pé àwọn ìjọba ń wò wá, wọ́n sì mọ ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí. Ṣùgbọ́n kí ni àwa gangan, kí ni determination tiwa? Òun náà ni wípé a gbọ́dọ̀ dúró wípé a fẹ́ nǹkan méjì bí kì í ṣe wípé kí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kó dúró. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ẹ má sì bàbá gbọ́ o. Bàbá sọ wípé Tinubu lè wà lórí oyè, ọmọ wa ni, ṣùgbọ́n nǹkan tá à ń fẹ́ kọ́ leléyìí. Ohun táwa ń fẹ́ ni pé kí ìran Yorùbá ó dá dúró, a sì dúró lórí kó dá dúró. Ọ̀nà tí ó wá gbà tí ó fi dá dúró ó ń bẹ ní ọwọ́ èmi àti ẹ tá a jọ ṣe tí ó dẹ̀ tùbà tí ó jẹ́ tùṣẹ. Káwọn wípé ìran agbe ni wọ́n laró, ìran àlùkò ni wọ́n lọ sùn, ìran lékelèké ni wọ́n lẹ fún. tá a bá kọ̀ tá a ṣe lónìí tá a ní kó kàn wá kò síbi táwa náà fẹ́ lọ. Ṣé tí wọ́n bá gbalẹ̀ bàbá wa lọ́wọ́ wa tí wọ́n gboko tí wọ́n gbalẹ̀ tí wọ́n gbaná sí ìlú yìí gbogbo wa fẹ́ gbé ni tó ṣe ṣe ká kó gbogbo ẹbí wa lọ ni. Tó bá kó ìyàwó tó bá kọ́mọ tó kó ìyá tó kó bàbá ṣó o lè kó ẹ̀gbọ́n àti àbúrò. Ǹjẹ́ tó bá kó ẹ̀gbọ́n àti àbúrò ṣó o lè kó ní fámìlì ìyá tí wọ́n ti bí ọ ṣó o lè kó wọn tán ni. Fámìlì bàbá tí wọ́n ti bí ọ ṣó o lè kó wọn tán. Fámìlì ìyàwó ṣó o lè kó wọn tán. Fámìlì ọkọ ṣó o lè kó wọn tán. Ìbátan alájọtan alájọwá ṣó o lè kó wọn tán. So kò sí bá ṣe fẹ́ ṣe àwa ń pa àwọn ẹbí wa ṣì ń bẹ náà níbẹ̀ a lè kó wọn tán. Kí sì ni tó yẹ ká ṣe? Ohun tó yẹ ká ṣe ni pé ká nígbàgbọ́ wípé ọ̀nà kan tó tá a fẹ́ gbà yẹn ni wípé a fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ bàbá wa. A sì gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ọmọ àlè tí ó ṣojo láti gbalẹ̀. Oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà òun la lè gbà láti gbalẹ̀ wa kúrò lọ́wọ́ àwọn Fúlàní yìí. Tí àwa àti àwọn tí a jọ ń ja ẹ̀jà yìí tá a bá jọ ní àjọṣepọ̀ tá a bá jọ ní ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ tá a jọ ní mutual understanding tá a jọ ní mutual agreement tá a jọ ní the close agreement tá a jọ understand ara wa, these people will vanish within a week or within 1 month. Wọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tí wọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ní àwọn ìlú mi ni wọ́n ṣe ń Ghana. Ṣé kò sí Fúlàní Ghana ni? Bọ̀ torí pé àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ the real indigene of Ghana ìfẹ́ wọ́n pẹnu pọ̀ wọ́n jọ fi ìmọ̀ ṣọ̀kan òun ló jẹ́ kí wọ́n lè kọ́ńkà àwọn Fúlàní yìí. But nígbà tí Fúlàní bá ń bá Yorùbá jà Ìgbò ọmọ rẹ́rìn tó bá tún kan ti Ìgbò Yorùbá náà ọmọ rẹ́rìn ọ̀nà wo la fẹ́ gbà wọ́n pa wá tán ni. Tẹ́ ẹ bá dẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ pa wá tẹ́ ẹ bá mú wọn wàhálà tó ní ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mú wọn lọ sọ́dọ̀ ìjọba wọn á ní ọmọ ní aṣẹ̀mọ́lù ni wọn. Báwo ni àjòjì ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ aṣẹ̀mọ́lù? Àwọn bọ́ kò yé wa wípé níwọ̀n ìgbà tí Buhari wà ń bẹ̀ gbogbo police station pátápátá tó wà ní Nàìjíríà pátápátá ni wọ́n ti fi Fúlàní àti
gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú láparapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation will stand. Gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú láparapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation will stand.
À ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ Emeritus Professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. Ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. Olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkí, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
Tẹ̀lé lórí so gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́ba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò faramọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
Akọni nínú èèyàn o. Ẹgbẹ́ kò Sunday mi. Akọni tó ń yọni léwu tó ń gbá ní sílẹ̀ lójú ogun. Òun lápẹ̀ lálágbára. Mo mẹ́wé mo mẹ́kò mo lóògùn tó ń jẹ. Níwọ̀n bá ní o ṣe níwájú ìbò. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Lẹ́lẹ́ tí ó máa fẹ́. Àtìyá o.
Ẹ jẹ́ a jáde ẹ máa bọ̀ ń ta ká ṣe kí ni o kàtúyàyà let's come out and showcase ourselves.
ọmọ ńlá mo gbé mú Sunday ìbò òòṣà owó bàbá dání bóyá tí mo bá ní kò òòṣà ẹ sọ pọkùnrin ogun ọmọ májàsọlá. acid rain ló mix. gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú láparapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation won't stand. gbogbo Yorùbá pátá lé lóko náà sọ pé èdè wa jọ wá lójú láparapọ̀ dá dúró Yorùbá nation won't stand.
à ń fi àsìkò yìí ṣe ìkéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ láti gbáradì fún àwọn ìwọ́de tí ń bọ̀ lọ́nà nípa pàtàkì orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá nation àti wípé ìdí tí a fi gbọdọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpínlẹ̀ Yorùbá. ìwọ́de yìí náà ni a máa ṣe káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ òjíire bí tí bàbá wa onímọ̀ ẹ̀rọ emeritus Professor Banji Akntoye yóò ṣe olùdarí rẹ̀. ọdún 2025 yìí náà ni yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀, a sì máa kàn sí wa nípa oṣù àti gbogbo ohun tí a bá fẹ́ mọ̀. olùkéde Ọláyọmí Kóìkí, agbẹnusọ fún olóyè Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho.
Navy blue check. Jakamo. 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 Jakamo.
tẹ̀lé lórí so gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá àtọ́bá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ìjòyè wọ́n láwọn ò faramọ́ kí Fúlàní máa jí wa gbé wọ́n máa jẹ oko wa kọ́ máa dà wá láàmú.
agbógun má ti di akọni nínú ìyàwó. ẹgbẹ́ kò Sunday mi. akọni tó ń yọ ní léwu tó ń gbá ní sílẹ̀ lójú ogun.
a dúpẹ́ fún ilé ìtọ́ tó bá wa sọ nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí àwọn tí wọ́n ń sọ fún kọ́lọ́run jẹ́ kó gbọ́, torí a mọ̀ pé àwọn olóṣèlú ò kì í dáhùn bàbá bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ wọn ń dáhùn, wọn ò kì í gbọ́. So a ó pé àwọn olóṣèlú yẹn wá respond, torí at the end of the day Bàbá Akntoye ti fi ọgbọ́n àti òye wọ́n ti fi engage àwọn politicians, but notwithstanding ìyẹn ò ní kí n táwọn ń bá lọ a máa bá lọ náà ni. mo kí èèyàn wa a kú weekend àdẹ̀kú bó ṣe ń lọ. Bàbá ti jẹ́ kó yé wa pé kò sí àní-àní níbẹ̀. Yorùbá láti dá dúró náà ni, òun ni the only solution tó wà nílẹ̀. And I hope that many of us that are still believing in one Nigeria will understand that Nigeria ó ti fail ààrẹ, so kò dẹ̀ sí point ká máa deceive ara wa pé Nàìjíríà máa ṣiṣẹ́. mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple DRS ní gbogbo Nottingham. A dúpẹ́ fún àlànà tí wọ́n tún bá wa sọ̀rọ̀, torí ẹni tó bá ṣe ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà máa ṣiṣẹ́ ó máa try gan. Kò sọ́nà àbáyọ kankan mọ́ pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. So ẹ wo gbogbo statistics tí ó ń show. All the statistics are pointing out that mo kí Remi official, mo kí Great Yoruba Nation Emmanuel, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa o, a kú weekend àdẹ̀kú bí ojú ọjọ́ ṣe rí ní gbogbo ibikíbi tí olúkálùkù wa bá wà. Whether you are believing that Nigeria will work, kò lè work. Nigeria has come to its due date. In tó bá dẹ̀ ti wá sí due date tó ti expire, tó bá consume, you might end up in a lot of problem. So the best bet náà ni pé kí olúkálùkù máa lọ. Ẹ mọ̀ ọmọ tó ṣe Facebook yẹn, torí software mo fi ń record so ó ń cut ara ẹ̀ out àmọ́ reason tó ṣe ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ so fully àfi mobile phone àfi stream òun ni kẹ̀jẹ́ gbádùn program bàbá a dẹ̀ ti ní gbogbo platform wa náà ní kẹ́ ti máa lọ gbọ́ wa so all the other platforms are operating so mo kí professor ọlọ́njà rí wọn pé dáadáa you know he's doing his best he's trying his best and he's still working day and night kò easy at that age àwa gan ta jẹ́ ọmọ 40 years old gan tó bá ti ṣiṣẹ́ kékeré báyìí àwọn àdàbí ń poru pọnpọ́n ni kàmáì tí wàá sọ àgbàlagbà I mean the man is no longer a baby 90 years old ṣọmọ kékeré mo kí mọ̀ sí àwọn ọmọ yẹn wọ́n ti yọ mí lẹ́nu wọ́n fẹ́ ká wá léni bóyá lọ́la ṣalágbára ọlọ́run àdọ́dọ̀ yìí so you know àdúpẹ́ fún bàbá Akíntóyè fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọgbọ́n bàbá Akíntóyè ń fi ọgbọ́n àgbàlagbà òun ni wọ́n fi ń tò kó má bàa dàrú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Nigeria is dead we don't have to be in a dead country while we are living that's the fact but the problem is many Nigerians are still hoping that you know something will turn around nothing is going to turn around ó kàn máa delay wa ni and we don't have to be delayed in a country that is not worth it why do we want to you know waste our effort time energy in a country that is useless a country that has nothing to offer so that is what we don't understand with many Nigerians that are still you know having these intention at the back of their head that Nigeria will be great. I mean, you're living in a country where you are not using your full potentials as a citizen. We are foreigners in this country. At least some of us, some of our children were born here is probably the second or the third generation. So if you're still one of those that have moved out of Nigeria and you are given opportunity in this country that is not yours and you can make use of your full potentials then what happened ìyẹn kan pè mí láti Mauritanians many of them they are not renewing their resident permit anymore for them in Mauritanians they're struggling they're helping they're asking for help but who's going to help them you know because Nigeria is not going to help anybody the citizens care less about the citizens I mean the politicians care less about us for those of us that are not in Nigeria even those in Nigeria they don't care about them so why would they care about people that are not even living in Nigeria the ones in Nigeria they don't care about them so why would the government respect the people that are not even living in Nigeria and when you tell Nigerians they will be telling you no we can still work it out why do you want to work it out you can't work it out because there's nothing to work about there's nothing to work on it allow Nigeria to dissolve allow Nigeria to break allow Nigerians to have their own independent country and that's you know it's not a crime it's not something that cannot be done but when your politicians are giving you the impression that something can still happen the question is what is going to happen nothing is going to happen because this country is dead it's gone so it's just a shame that many Nigerians that you would expect them to have understanding are still hoping that one day you know there will be a turnaround you will have a good government and everything will go in accordance and you will eventually run a good governance you know you can't run a good governance in Nigeria there's no amount of your effort you know so our best bet is to allow Nigeria to just go let it go so that we can achieve our full potentials as indigenous people you know Yes, some people might not be interested because they are still in their probably youth and they are wasting their youth in a country that has no value for them. They're struggling on a daily basis. Nothing can work. The current situation of that country, is not going to allow you to achieve your full potentials. So, so the option on the table is to just let Nigeria to go, dissolve it. Everybody go their separate ways. Igbo their country, Yoruba their country, Hausa, Ijaw, everybody have their country, and we can still have good relationship as neighbors. If people are saying that it will work, it will work. It will work since 1960, and we are now in 21st century. So, I mean, why are we telling lies to ourselves that it's going to work? How is it going to work? How? On our work? It's lie. But those that are meant to know, they're not going to tell you. Don't expect Tinubu to tell you that, that Nigeria is going to work. Tinubu himself knows that could work. Nigeria is a country that was not designed for we, the people. But those that are meant to say it have all kept quiet. Could you reduce that? Could you reduce that, please? So, but for those of us that are campaigners, we will continue to campaign until our requests and our demands are met. It does not matter how long is left. It does not matter how the process will be. We will do whatever is needed for us to exit the contraction. So we continue with our awareness on a daily basis, whether you enjoy it, whether you don't enjoy it, the message will continue to be delivered. Whether you believe, whether you don't believe, that is not my problem. But our whole problem is that if we fail to allow Nigeria to go now, it will be a disaster for every single one of us. Not just me. It's just that some of us will have a better life than most of you. The only thing is that we will not return back home, because I can't return back to a country where I am not free. But many of you that are hoping that you look at what El Rufai is saying. El Rufai is now telling us that Tinubu, I think I saw something that El Rufai was talking about recently. He was talking about Tinubu, how he's a drug baron, certificate, it's all lies. Anyway, none of them like each other before anyway, so they're all enemies of each other. So you run it's only the gullible Nigerians that are hoping that politicians, they're all criminals. It no matter whether it's Tinubu, whether it's El Rufai, Atiku, they're all criminals. So our Yoruba ni ká dìde ká get out of this mess, and we can do it together if we all, focus. It can be done. There's nothing that cannot be achievable in this life. People have, worked out and they've achieved their country before in the past. So, we can have our own country far away from Nigeria, develop our own system of government, but nobody is going to tell you all this. So, country can pull out. Leave them alone. Let our, the Fulani stick to Nigeria. Let them keep Nigeria. Let them keep Nigeria. àwọn ló fẹ́ Nàìjíríà wọ́n ò fẹ́ Nàìjíríà. Let them keep. Can you slow it a little bit, Omodua? Mabinu. So let them keep one Nigeria, but many Nigerians will not listen. Some of them are already preparing for election that they will rig, election that most of you might be killed along the line. If you're not careful, you could be killed. So you got to be very careful, because you can end up where you don't want to be if you are not careful. But that is the situation in Nigeria. But our job here is to always tell you the truth. Pain. We supported Tinubu despite his cocaine certificate forgery scandal. El Rufai. It's all lies. Everybody, even El Rufai knows that he's telling lies. They're all the same. Buhari never had any certificate, and he was the president. At least Tinubu had a forged one. Okay, Mr. Arolo. At least Tinubu had a fake certificate. Buhari had any certificate. We couldn't get certificate for Buhari. At least Tinubu had a fake. He had a fake certificate. But Buhari doesn't even have one. All these criminals that have been used to deceive us, that we should, why will I put all my energy to fix Nigeria? Nigeria, so why should I be worried about trying to fix Nigeria? What does concern me about fix Nigeria? We have done that before in the past. We have done that in the past. So this is not the time to want to fix Nigeria anymore. Why do I want to be fixing Nigeria? Can you come and go to fix Nigeria? Allow Nigeria to die. That's our own, allow Nigeria to die, and let it die either peacefully or violently, or however it's going to die. I don't care. Because Nigeria being alive is a catastrophe to people. Your lives are not worth anything in Nigeria. I saw the news, the $10 gas explosion that happened a few days ago. Ọkọ àti ìyàwó tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ìyàwó ní February, they got caught up in that situation, died already. Nigeria has happened to them. These are couples, they only got married, according to the news, in February 22. Nigeria don't happen to them. No safety. Nothing is working. I'm sure maybe those ones now, we don't know whether they have already attacked or say a lot of things about people like us. Say, Koiki, shut up. That guy is disturbing us. Now, they don't die. They're gone. So, newlywed couples. Let me show you. Last screen. My son is watching something on the YouTube, so there might be some interference coming through. Can you see the news? Newlywed couple died in Otedola Bridge. Gas tank explosion. They just got married. Only in February. It's not even 1 month that they got married. They don't die. They don't buy. They're gone. Bye-bye. We wait for the next person to matuku. That's what everybody is waiting for, the next bad news. Yes, there will always be bad news around the world, but why should we live in a country where we are always waiting for the next bad news? My wife was just sending me something now. Awalani culture. Listen to this.
Yoruba Yahweh go. Yoruba people can communicate and talk with you without using a device. Kinestics last until we're okay. Body language. Tí o bàbá fi ojú burúkú wẹ̀, A sap, get
Yes.
message here.
Yes.
When we there for small, then go take us go party. Then go say, oh yeah, Ewa Jango, come and eat. We go look at our mama face for body languages. When we don't get the message, we go say, we know the job, we don't belly full. Yoruba mothers will go as far as saying, oh, they're down now. Man about our try shit, you know. Oh, they're down, no means say make it chop. To make matter worse, if na come get guest for house, them serve visitor Mirinda, but rice. One few tell rice here, tendency to ganusy.
Yeah.
You they look
All right.
visitor
Take
and
care.
visitor to chop. The mama they cut eye for you, say make you come up for dear. You know agree. Visitor now can't tell you say, come and eat now. You want no one line where láti buy rice. Baby, I hear to budget.
So, okay, well, we will continue until we achieve our dream desire to have our own country. Can you slow it a little bit? It's too loud. Thank you. Everybody knows that there's an agenda. So what I don't understand about Yoruba people, everybody knows that there's an hidden agenda that some people wants to take our land. There's an agenda that some people wants to kill us, offer power, and yet our people, you know, Kiloshi Ecuador, Mr. Didayo, Ecuador. What's wrong with Ecuador? Ecuador is in South America. A lot of plantain comes from there. Can you slow it a little bit? Thank you. Better. So, look at how they kill our monarch. This was some years back. Ekiti monarch that was killed by Fulani herdsmen told us to vote APC. Yes? Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it. Now, herdsmen have not given us rest of mind. A woman decries the killing of a monarch in Ekiti community. I'm sure some of you remember that video. 29,000 Yoruba people were killed by herdsmen during Buhari 8 years reign of terror on innocent Yoruba people. According to Premium Times, 4,500 Nigerians killed, 7,000 kidnapped in Tinubu's first year as president. Odimelo. We sent a letter to Tinubu. He refused to acknowledge the letter. Tinubu is doing as if he will be here forever. At least I was in a burial ground on Tuesday, so I know that nobody will be here forever. We're only here for a short, limited time. So if Tinubu is thinking that he's going to be here forever, you better tell him that we give him another 50 years. He's gone. Even 50 years still for you. Mukim Baba mi, JP Moore, Shalafia level. So, Yoruba Nation, Akntoye, Igboho, right Tinubu, seek exit from Nigeria. All this is what I call doing things in a diplomatic way. Doing things in a way that it will not become confrontation. Doing things in a way that the international community wants it to be done. Dialogue, engagement. And that's exactly what we have been doing for the last 4 years. Engagement. Triple DRS ní Koiki, let the children enjoy their program. Our parents don't have to open their mouth to talk. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. So, Adúpẹ́, we were grateful that we were privileged to listen to Professor Akntoye. I can listen to him every day and you will not get tired. Most of the Yoruba have no confidence in restructuring. Restructuring is too late. What do you want to restructure? Even those that are shouting for restructure, they've decided that restructure is no longer working. If you go and look at, listen to Dr. Fakbunda, Dr. Fakbunda has made it known we don't have no confidence anymore in restructuring. What are you going to restructure? How do you want to restructure it? Where do you start the restructure? So let me give you this man, Dr. Fakbunda. Dr. Fakbunda stated that he wants restructure, but now say that can't restructure Nigeria. So ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ Dr. Fakbunda. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tèmi o. A good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Koiki Media Transmission. So before we listen to Fakbunda, let's listen to Kunle Olawunmi, a former Navy Commodore at the year. Let's listen to him.
It's not about sentiments. Is that there are a group of people in this country that feels that this country should be Islamized. This is a fact. I said you want me to start mentioning names of people in this government that we have interrogated. I was a member of an interrogation team, and I've interrogated a very high-ranking member of this government in 2007, 2008 on issue of Boko Haram. I interrogated him. He's in this government right now. And what was the issue? Boko Haram. And this senior officer was actually let go because he was found culpable. But right now he's in the government. You see, we must say the truth, because if you don't, this country is going down the precipice. We have been set back more than 60 years right now. We've gone back to the time before 1966 now. And whoever is coming back to repair this country has a lot of work to do. This country has never been polarized, so we cannot run away from it. We have never been this. I'm a federal person. Mind is federal. My brain is federal. My loyalty is federal. I do things for the federal government. So I cannot come here and try to be sentimental. No. I'm a federal person.
So will your life be at risk now that they're hearing you?
I don't care. I don't care. And my colleagues, they know me. Those people that listen to me, they know me. I don't care. The issue is that this country is bigger than an individual. That is the issue. This country is bigger than individuals. Buhari will come and go. Eliminating me or killing me will not solve the problem and will not add value. But he will come and go. And somebody must come and repair the damage to the psyche of this society, the damage to the polarization, to the nepotism.
And the next person that came has also added more nepotism. Tinubu that also came has added more salt to the problem. Buhari, the evil monster, the one that created havoc to the death of 29,000 Yoruba people. Tinubu now has come in and it has become even worse.
I've never seen in my life. I work with all these presidents. This is the worst situation I've found myself. And believe me, internet does not forget. I was part of the people that helped to bring Buhari to government. Because
you see where the problem is? They helped to bring the government of Buhari to power. And Buhari show every one of us Shege Pro Max. They brought in Buhari to power. Just like they brought in Tinubu to power. Tinubu is now showing everybody Shege Pro Max. And when you tell Nigerians that this unity is not working, they'll say, no, no, shut up. Nigeria can be restructured. Nigeria will be a better place. Nigeria will be a great place. But everybody knows that that is a lie. Nigeria can never be a great place. So, when somebody is sending a request, let me see what this person wants to say. Hello? So, Nigeria can never be a great place. Hello? Hello, the person they send a request on Twitter space. Go ahead, let me hear you before I go further. I've given you the mic.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, my complaint. Yeah, my complaint is all about the Miyetti Alaga started again.
We can hear you. Go ahead. So the Miyetti Allah that have started again, what are we going to do with them? Or what do we do around them? I'm listening. Go ahead. You got the mic. You got the mic. Go ahead. We're listening. You're holding us down. We're listening. Go ahead.
It's like the network is not good.
It's
from
it,
my own.
it's definitely. Are you in Nigeria or outside?
Yeah,
Nigeria?
sure.
Yeah, definitely it might be. But we can hear you. Go ahead. We can still hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, well, I'm on Twitter this evening. I saw all the. Yeah, sure. I'm in Nigeria. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Go ahead. We can hear you. Continue your conversation. Stop talking. Just go ahead. There's a delay, probably maybe because of your network. Just keep talking. We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, sir. So the Miyetti Allah, when I'm on Twitter this evening and I'm seeing they started their main goal. So what I'm seeing on Twitter this evening is very, very uncomfortable. I felt bad. Very, very bad. A bigot Fulani man encroaching upon our land in the southwest, killing our people, destroying my farmland, my farm labor.
When they ask you to eat proper food, you say you want a hot chocolate. Go and sit down. Yeah, I'm listening. All right, we're having problem with your. We've got the message. So what is the solution with all the Fulanis, Miyetti Allah killing and all that? So what is the solution to the from your own perspective? You're in Nigeria. What are people saying in Nigeria? What do Nigerians want? Because Nigerians are confused people.
We just really, it's very, very annoying with the state what I'm seeing on the Twitter this evening is very bad. I don't like it.
So what are we going to do? Nobody likes the killing. We are all tired of seeing blood. So what is the solution? What do we do?
We really need to stand up against these people.
So we need to fight. So we need to fight back. That's number one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but we have been told that now, but nobody wants to do that. Yeah, but the government is not going to stop it. The government is not going to stop it. We have been told by T.Y. Danjuma that the government is also part of the, those that are killing us. So which government? Can you reduce it? I told you not to loud it again. So which government are you waiting for? The government is not going to do anything. The government is not going to do anything. Anyway, we're going to move forward. Thank you so much for the contribution, and we appreciate your time with us. So let's remove you as a speaker so it doesn't interrupt the conversation as we move further. So the Twitter handle guy says is listening from Nigeria. Is not happy with the killings that is taking place in Nigeria. I try to ask what should be the solution. What should we do? Should we go and attack these people back, or what do we need to do? These are many questions that many people are asking. And T.Y. Danjuma, I might not have that video on this particular laptop that I'm using, but we know that T.Y. Danjuma did advise us that the military is compromised. So let's complete the video from Kunle Olawumi, then we move to Dr. Fapowunda, those that are asking for a restructuring that we can never get in a country called Zoo, Nigeria.
I believe in him.
Have you worked with the government after that?
After
you helped bring the government?
Oh, of course, I worked with him. We brought him in 2015, and I work as the Deputy Director of Defense Administration. And we have a lot of hope in him. And we actually are ready to do it.
You see, a Yoruba man, they had so much hope in a Fulani man, just like same thing Tinubu is doing. Tinubu is doing the same mistake. Tinubu is doing the same mistake, thinking that he has hope, in Nigeria, but he doesn't know that he's dipping his debt into Nigeria, because Nigeria is not going to give him any space to fix Nigeria. Even if Tinubu has the intention to want to fix Nigeria, he will not be given that opportunity, because the Fulani doesn't want anything to be fixable in that country that you are calling Nigeria, that is not a country. So we're going to now listen to, our brother, Dr. Or Mr. Akin Fapowunda. Is one of those that is championing these restructure Nigeria. We're going to restructure Nigeria. But lately, I don't know whether it's this particular video that I'm going to play, but I've listened to a particular one where he's now changing his tone, that it seems that might not be visible anymore to restructure Nigeria. It's even late already to restructure Nigeria right now. There's no way anybody can restructure Nigeria. It is just too late. But again, many Nigerians are gullible. They are waiting that maybe the next 2027 election, we saw criminal of El Rufai and the rest of them, telling Nigerians to come and join SDP. So I don't know the difference between all these political parties, because as far as I'm concerned, they are one entity that doesn't have respect for rule of law, have respect for Nigerians. So 2 years ago, again, there's another video, maybe we should listen to this. While the censor is important, I saw a particular censor that is spread around, and they're calling them Awusa Fulani. I don't know where we got that from. So let me bring that onto the screen. I don't know whether some of my followers that are following us on Twitter or all the platforms have seen it already. And I'm just listening to Dr. Fapowunda again. This is another video 2 years ago. It was the British, again, that manipulated 9 hours ago. We can't show you the video, but some of you must have seen it. A lady by herself on the Third Mainland Bridge. She says she wants to pee, come off the vehicle, jump into the lagoon. The people got close to her, but I think she don't buy already. This happened today. I don't know whether it's today, but according to Giddy Traffic, a lady by herself by jumping off the Third Mainland Bridge. If that lady now understand that it is Nigeria, yeah, I mean, everybody goes through situation, but I believe the situation of Nigeria right now is making a lot of people want to, buy themselves. So, but that's not where we're going right now. I want us to quickly look at this data. The British knew that the way they can manipulate us is to tell us that the North has large numbers of people than the West. This is an area that doesn't have water. But because Britain is another criminal, country that created what we're experiencing, and not just in Nigeria, across different parts of the globe. Many of the problems that we're facing around the world today are man-made. They were created, they were manufactured to fail. So let me quickly give us that. I can go and get my son bread and stew as he has requested. So I want us to look at these data. Shout out to my mom. My mom sent me another video out Taiwan. I believe, is it Taiwan? Let me quickly see. I'm going to play that video later. So don't go anywhere. The broadcast will be more in English, so you will not miss anything. Just help me to bring somebody else. Yeah, Taiwan. So we're going to come to that video as well. We are still discussing why it is important now that we allow Nigeria to dissolve. We should allow Nigeria to, to break. Whatever you think, you want to use around it, we should just let it go. I guess I need to go and find that particular sensor quickly on my Facebook. My name is Olamiko. I'm sure many of you know me already. I am now a stranger to the social media. I am one of those that believe that our cordial relationship with Nigeria is no longer visibly working. Shout out to every one of you that have joined me. If anybody is still in that bracket that Nigeria, it will work, my job is to convince you with evidence base that we were told all this in the hope that we should go and work towards fixing Nigeria. But behind the scene, the IMF, the World Bank, they are not fixing Nigeria. They're actually destroying the citizen, the indigenous people. They steal our natural resources, they take it abroad, and they bring it back in whatever form or shape, and they're telling us we should go and fix, Nigeria. Somebody called me from Mauritania. They're struggling. They can't get their document renewed because they haven't got no more or any reason, because Nigeria is not just going to work. So as Nigeria is affecting Nigerians at home, it's still also affecting many Nigerians. Okay, this is it. Thank you so much, Tokyo 77. It said, last man standing, White Lion. Thanks so much for everything. You will all thank me when we declare Yoruba nation. That is when I think most of you will thank me more. Right now, we are still on the journey to achieve a Yoruba country. So that is the data. This data, I believe, is another way to tell lies. Population of Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Ijaw in Nigeria, based on the available, and I have to read that because we're streaming on other platforms that are not connected to the software this evening. Based on the available data, Nigerian population is composed of numerous ethnic groups, with the largest being Hausa Fulani. I don't know where they come up with such a mongorous or whatever fake information, because we know that Fulanis are different from Hausa, and yet we are now told that Hausa Fulani has 33.4% of the population of Nigeria. I don't know whether you agree with that data, but I do not. Yoruba, approximately 13.9% of the population, while the Igbo, approximately 14.1% of the population. The Ijaw, approximately 2.0%. Now, listen to Dr. Fakmunda while I quickly get the stew ready for my son so that he can have his bread and stew as requested. And I hope many of your children, when they're requesting for meal at home, in Nigeria, I'm not talking about those abroad, I hope you're able to deliver and give them their request without beating them and saying that Kosonjenile and all that. We don't want to hear that, because Tinubu promised you everything, and we hope that Tinubu is doing exactly what he promised. You are able to eat 3 square meal. So these figures that you've just seen are figures by what the British did. The British knew ahead that there will be a day like this, that many Nigerians will question a lot of things. So they quickly fabricated a fake censor and tell us that, oh, the Hausas or the northern part of Nigeria has the highest population. And we know that that is a lie, because where did they get it from? These people will not get anything, but yet. So let's listen to this. I'm going to mute my mic. I'll come back in a minute, before the 2 minutes, and then we will then play Dr. Fakbonda, and those that are still, like I said, he's changing his words. I don't think he believes in restructure Nigeria anymore. Let the Biafra go. I support the Biafra country, an Ijaw country, Ududua country. That is the only way we can have peace of mind. If otherwise, we might end up as Yugoslavia. I pray we don't. But those of you that are saying it cannot be, because Jesus that you are calling, stop calling Jesus into this matter. Jesus is not as stupid as you, because Jesus did not create Nigeria. Britain created Nigeria, and it is the job of the indigenous people to use every means within their capacity. Mine is from the media perspective. If you have other means, you can use it to tell the international community that what was created now needs to be reversed. So let's listen to this while I mute my mic.
Presidential election and the governorship elections are just in a few days' time. We've also forgotten, perhaps let me remind our viewers, that the population census is just, yes, it's just by the corner. Doctor, tell me what you think, because I know you were a part of the group, you represented a group at the meeting and all of that. Give me a sense of what this census is about and why it is important for us to do a census at this time. A lot of people have also queried the timing of the census, but what do you think, Doctor?
Census was supposed to have been done last in 2006. Yeah. It's supposed to have been every 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Now we're in 2023. The government knew about it, but they are now putting it the last minute. The census that will be done next 2 months is not likely to have credibility. Nobody is talking about it. People are not aware about it. There is no awareness. There is no information to the general public. They are just spending money under the table and they are doing mobilization. But the bottom line is that based on what was announced, I was at the event where the project was presented to the public. The census is going about the same way as we have been doing census. They are not going to apply biometric technology in doing the count, unless they change their mind the last few weeks after the event was presented to the public. They refused putting ethnicity as a data point. And yet, we deceive ourselves because either you are a Bira, or you are a Yoruba, or you are Igbo, we know who we are, but we won't shy away from that data. And we cannot shy away from it because there is ethnic identity all over the world.
So you've just listened to, sorry, I was also listening to it on my AirPod. We have just listened to Dr. Fakbonda there, excuse me. Now, let's listen to him from another angle, talking about after the criminal man on the wheelchair, and he will not die anytime soon because he must witness the nation that will come out of Nigeria. I'm talking about Babangida. We don't pray for him to die now, but he will not stand up again from that wheelchair. And the atrocities and many people that he has killed, the blood will continue to flow on his head. Let's listen to Dr. Fakmund. I'm not sure whether he talked about restructuring here, because I actually want to hear more from the perspective of the restructuring. But let me just play this and I'll come back.
Hiding in shame until he dies, to be honest. Look, let's lay the history.
Yes, let's lay
the
it.
generation of the soldiers from 1966.
Yes.
It is now almost 60 years. Their class damaged Nigeria beyond redemption. Beginning from General Gowon, who brought Udoji Awards to spoil the economy of Nigeria. General Muitala killed people in Abagana, in Agbo. He himself, how many people were killed deliberately, pointedly, without remorse over these years? It's not just him. It symbolizes the debacle of Nigeria in the last 60 years that we have had. Now, the effect of what he has done is much bigger than we think.
Yeah.
There are 3 dates in Nigeria history now, 3 dates. October 1960, January 15, 1966, June 12, 1993. We started up as a country in 1960. It was truncated in 1966. 1990 will have been the point where we emerge as a nation, not a mere geographical expression.
Thank you so much. If you're new to this platform, can you do me a favor? I will speak a lot of English so you will not miss out, even though as Yoruba person and indigenous, we love to speak our Yoruba to a lot of our audience, but sometimes we do because it's also an international platform. Let's go back to some of the pointers raised by our uncle, Mr. Akntoye. First and foremost, he talked about how Babangida should be ashamed of himself. Babangida is not going to be ashamed of himself because these criminals are never ashamed of themselves. I mean, why should Babangida be ashamed? He's a criminal, so don't expect Babangida, to be ashamed of anything. Criminals are meant not to be ashamed, but they are meant to destroy more people and more lives. So as we continue to emphasize the need now for Nigeria to dissolve, the need now for Nigeria not to even talk about restructuring, the need now for Nigerians not to be talking about 2027 election. Let El Rufai keep his 2027 election agenda to the north. Let those that want election to keep it to the part that they want it, not in Yoruba land. But the criminal Yoruba politicians have been very smart. Very soon they will start. I've seen, and this is for those that are Yorubas. I've seen Tinubu's campaign vehicles for 2027 have been rolled out in Abuja. A video was sent to me. I won't have to play it, but I'm just telling you. Bosses. We know that these are stolen Nigerians' money anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of give somebody the contract. They will ship in these coastal buses. These are buses that is meant to be taking people in Lagos State across Nigeria as public transport, not the ones that have been racketed and dead, running all around, Lagos that Tinubu we were told he fixed because he never fixed, he stole money out of Lagos State. He never fixed anything. He's a criminal. Tinubu is a criminal just like Peter Obi, Atiku, Obasanjo, Obasa. They are all criminals. The criminals that have destroyed the many lives of many Nigerians. But he's already preparing for 2027. And this is important that the Yoruba people must understand that Tinubu, he will kill anybody for 2027. So we must put that at the back of our mind. He will kill any Yoruba man, just like we saw how they were almost going to kill Igboho in 2021. So if anybody thinks that, asking for Yoruba nation is going to be as cheap, asking for Biafra. You must prepare for death from these criminal politicians. You must prepare for your death. It's either you die or they die. It's, you must decide which one is going to happen. So we can see the sequence of events. First and foremost, everybody knows that Nigeria is a mere geographical location. Then why are we trying to fix it? Because David Lammy, another criminal, politicians that are going to tell you, oh, everything will be fine in Nigeria. Nigeria will be a great place by 2027 or 2075 rather. Forget about all that nonsense. I live in the UK. UK has a lot of their problem that they should be dealing with. But what they are telling you is, yeah, they are moving coffins. They're called vehicles. I've seen Tinubu 2027 with a wife, branded coastal buses, brand new. These are stolen money from Lagos. We know that. And now that he even has access to presidency, you can imagine how much they're stealing from there on a daily basis. What do we do with the sequence of events that has happened in the past? Nigeria is a mere geographical location. Nobody needs to tell anybody that anymore. But why are Nigerians still trying to save this mere geographical location? Why? Is it hot? Blow it. Why are Nigerians working towards fixing, this mere geographical location as stated by the late legend Awolowo? As many people have said it. Tafa Balewa said it. But Nigerians think that it's just a mere say, it's a mere geographical location, but we can rectify the problem. How? Where do you start from? Good evening, Mr. Akorede Musbah. And shout out to most of you on the Twitter. Just help me to retweet so that they can call in their APC criminal gangs to come and listen to Koiki Media. That the guy is out again on them. Because we will be on their neck until our own demands for Yoruba nation comes alive. And people must prepare for that because it's not going to come easy. If you think that Tinubu is just going to give you Yoruba nation like that, you must prepare for that. Be careful. Michael Sprinkle Seloju, why are you not having water in front of you? So let us have it at the back of our mind that it's either you want freedom or you will end up not getting what. So listening to Mr. Akinfakponra is talking about how we got independent. Did we really gain independent or independent was forced, as we've seen? Because we know that nobody got independent. Good evening to you, Just Reason. Mr. Waris Jinadu, thank you so much. It says, and I quote, Ogun Padanu, Naira, Obas, Ojelu, Citizen, Britico, IMF, Condition, Igbo, Hausa, Region, half-blooded Yoruba, foreign power brokers, false media, narrative ourselves, issue at the Wahala. Originally said by the person named Leo Africanos, from which the foreign Africa word was adopted, is not a Yoruba word. We are not foreign word coined by after Africa or Nigeria. Additional says, lie Nigerian people. Which censorship, statistics, give them that number. What year? Nigeria is a crime scene. Mrs. Taiwo Kike-Fasome, good evening and welcome. Do me a favor, bring in more people and let them come and listen to why Nigeria now needs to dissolve. If not, there will be more problem ahead. So let's go back and listen. Dr. Fakmuda says, we got independent, things failed. Babangida annulled the election in 1993. 32 years after, is coming up with a book launch that we should forgive him for killing MK Abiola and killing Delegiwa and killing many innocent military personnel, people that should still be alive today. Babangida killed every single one of them in a plane crash. We knew all that, especially the one that took place in Ejigbo. Today, Babangida is still alive. And they still want us to stick together with Gowon and the rest of the criminal gangs, all operating on behalf of Britain. We know that Britain says that we got independent and they're not going to get involved in our domestic affairs. But we know that that's a lie. That is a lie because Britain is still interfering in our domestic affairs. And as we have done October last year, we've given them a letter and we will decide our fate ourselves. Come here, come and close the water. Why you left the water open? Well, you want milk? No. Okay. Eh? Yeah. Let's listen to Dr. Faponda one more time.
That chance was lost and lost almost forever. That's the greatest destruction on the Nigerian country, not the Nigerian nation.
There is, Dr.
And we have not recovered since then.
Dr. Fakonda, there is an argument by some people who say that take away June 12 and Babangida perhaps could have been remembered or considered as a great president in terms of the fact that he did a lot of economic reforms, he did some infrastructure, and he indeed birthed the process that led to the election we call the freest and the fairness. I have had occasion in public and in writing to say Babangida is a paradox like Nigeria. So what's your take on that, that vision that take away June 12 and perhaps it could be considered one of the greatest leaders the country has had?
Again, when you see all these journalists talking like this, I don't know whether he has collected brown envelope from Babangida, but you can tell that journalists that talk like this, they don't have the balls to speak the truth to power. You can also say that, but you are not in Nigeria. He is in Nigeria, so he needs to play his card, which is understandable. Who is Babangida? Was Babangida another UK or Britain entity? Was Babangida another CIA entity? Even MK Abiola, we can't trust him. Even Tinubu himself, asset. We know how all these work. They are all asset. Britain never had any intention for you to be a successful human being, but it's okay for their own citizens to be successful. As we had in this weekend, most of their citizens have traveled to Cyprus, they've gone to Turkey, they've gone to Ibiza in Spain, Italy. They're moving around like yo-yo. While you, I was hearing that they say King Charles is listening to Davido as part of his Commonwealth music. How does that bring food to my table? How does that stop the Fulani killings? You can see the lies that they put out there. Commonwealth citizen, no value. Good evening once again to my beautiful mother. And she says, and I quote, what good has Babangida done to Nigeria and Nigerians? Is a question that she's asking. My phone line is open if you like to engage. Like I said, tonight broadcast is more in English because it's been a while I've spoken English and I've decided that sometimes our program will run in English so that we can get as many of those that believe that they can still go and fix Nigeria. You go and study and you want to go and fix Nigeria. You better stop that nonsense. You might end up get caught up in Nigeria Wahala. Triple DRS, all the way from Nottingham, says all the media in Nigeria, probably few of them, are all puppet of the politicians. If you like to call into the program and give your own take, the studio number only, plus 4474. If you remember, the UK code is plus 4474 04405917. I'll repeat that again, plus 4474 04405917. Also remember that this is an independent media. We always ask you to remember to support. so that we can continue to grow our own, we can move and challenge most of those media that are not telling Nigerians the truth. So, as we continue to listen to Dr. Fakbonda, I quickly want to bring in the former president of Nigeria, as it is known. And who is this person? No one else but this man. Let's listen to him, then we go back to Dr. Fakbonda. This is Koiki Media. Today is the 15th of March 2025. It's a Saturday. I'm happy now that it's no longer as dark as quickly as 4 o'clock in the UK. It shows now we're going to spring. The weather is much more cold, but it's much brighter. If you have never shared my program, maybe this might be the best opportunity to share it. We've actually had issues again with our Koiki Media YouTube channel. A video that we did or posted about 2 years ago has been flagged, and it has affected the channel for 2 weeks on a suspension. But never mind, we're live on one of our another backup channel, which is my 25 years in the UK, and that's the reason why I'm speaking in English, because most of the audience there might not be Nigerians. Probably few Yoruba will come in between. That is called Olayomi Koiki, and we also have the WD. So for 2 weeks, I tried to appeal, but it was rejected. And the video is a long one, 2 years ago, thereabout. So, but it's okay, it's not the end of the world. If we calm down, we will still open more channels and we will still be live. We are live on Twitter. 73 people are watching me. I say thank you so much. And I hope you are not one of those looking forward to 2027 election. It's a fraud. Britain knew that Nigeria was a fraud, yet they went ahead. And today, King Charles, we're told, is listening to some of his playlists. The video is one of those playlists, timeless. What has that got to do with me? The king knows that we are not Nigerians, and I hope he will have the balls to come out openly and tell the indigenous people to go back to where we are before they came in with their own problem on the lives of innocent people. We were living a better life before the Portuguese came. The Yoruba have been in existence for a very long time. I saw a tree when I was in Benin Republic. With that, the tree is 600 years old. Yes, you heard me very well. It's a tree 600 years old. Far older than Nigeria. You will not be happy in Nigeria. All these, oh, we are the most happiest people. Stop deceiving yourself. A young woman jumped on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. I believe it was today. Let's listen to Jonathan. Mr. Wasiu Taiwo, good evening. Once again, what good has Babangida, the Maradona, the criminal, and don't stop all this nonsense that Babangida say, Yoruba people, when they say they are fighting, he looks at the window, he will go back and sleep. Akntoye has debunked that lie. Babangida never said such. But Babangida is a criminal. He killed Delegiwa and he killed many good officers, whether they were Yoruba, Igbo, or Middle Belt. Babangida killed every single one of them. You can donate in any way to support this platform, and every donation is much important. Remember that we're also returning back to Africa, so we hope we can help to raise funds. Hello? Yeah.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders.
I want us to listen. Those of you defending nonsense, I want you to listen to Jonathan, the former president of the fake country called Nigeria. Since we all know that Nigeria is a mere geographical location, why then do we want to rescue this fake country? Is what I don't know. Why should we defend it? Why should we promote it? What have you gained out of Nigeria? Whatever you have gained is because you are an indigenous people that was created very well by your creator. So stop fooling yourself that, oh, we were trained and we've done very well from Nigeria. We go to America. No. Because you are an indigenous person, your creator knew who you are, whether you are Igbo, Hausa, Ijaw. So stop fooling yourself about one Nigeria again. I know it will not be going well with some of you because you're waiting for your pastor, your imam, to tell you that Nigeria is still a lovely place and we must save it. And we are not scared to mention their names. Like I always say, I take two out of them. I take Iyadura. She was one time living in the UK, a white garment church, and Pastor G.O. Adeboye. They will never tell you that Nigeria is a failed country. I bet my life they will never tell you. I love both of them so much, but they will never tell you the truth. How they are man and woman of God, I still don't understand. Because they know that the country has failed. But let's appreciate some of the man of God, from Prophet King Leo in the southeast to Prophet Mayowa in the southwest, Prophet Shegun Adebayo in the southwest, Prophet Tibetan southwest, Ezekiah southwest, even Nasirullah southwest, and many that we don't know from the other part of the other indigenous people. The end of Nigeria will happen in our era. I am still 40. I am still younger than Tinubu. I pray for his good health and likewise for mine. So one day, either he is alive to witness it, I will be alive to witness it. But how soon will be determined by we, the indigenous people, especially the Yorubas. Tinubu ti kó campaign buses jáde. I saw it. Somebody sent it to me from Abuja. Buses branded with Tinubu 2027. Tinubu will kill anybody for 2027. Take my words for that. He's so determined, but we can stop him. We can all stop him if we say enough is enough. The Biafra needs to tighten up. The Middle Belt needs to tighten up. And the Yoruba needs to tighten up. Three of us can simultaneously declare our independence out of Nigeria, and that will be the end of Nigeria. But don't expect some of your people within these indigenous people. They are as corrupt as Nigeria. They are criminals. Some of them are looking for position that Seyi Tinubu will be the governor of Lagos State. We will wait to see if that is going to happen. If you take me out, many more will still rise up and fight. You have kept Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, and there are still people fighting. It's an ideology. You can't stop it. So if that is your own intention, and you can't because the Creator is the only one that can take us out. But with this, our media, we will liberate your mind from that crazy country that the British white people create. I'd like to use the word white people. My mom didn't want me to be using it. If I have to explain to her that there's nothing wrong in using the word white people. They created the country, the monster called Nigeria, for their own selfish gain, not for me and you. So when criminal like Jonathan that stole shit out of Nigeria is not coming out to tell us that Nigeria is a mere geographical, but he's quoting people. He doesn't want to quote himself. So where and how did Jonathan become a PhD holder? I hope he didn't buy it from South Africa. Criminal country. Fake country. Liars all over the place. Telling lies. Senators, criminal. Politicians, 419 times 2. Obas, compromise. They can't talk. They've been gagged. And some of them have been bought. So if you're one of those saying it's not going to happen, well, we will see how far all these Baba are going to last. From Obasanjo, even though we know that is not his true age. How far they can last with us, we will see. Their children cannot last with us. So we already, I mean, if we can be dealing with their father like this, imagine their children, they're looking at us now and they're like, wow, I'm really Yahweh they go. These are crazy generations. The way they are talking to our father like this, they will do everything to kick us out. So their children is not our problem. We're dealing with their fathers now. Some of them are getting slowly down. They're slowing down. Their strength is not as, if me and Obasanjo enter field, all this one way they play football, if we enter field with my age and his age, who do you think will run faster? All this one way they do all the time where they throw him. Let me kick a ball to him and let him kick back to me and let's see which one of us go fall down. That is what we're saying, that they don't have the strength, they don't have the capacity, but we need the strength of every Yoruba people and the rest of the indigenous to come together. That is the only way you can defeat criminals. And if it's not crisis, America and the world is not going to intervene. The situation has to be crisis. Criminals, politicians. Let's go back and listen to another one called himself Jonathan, the drunk-yard man. He drinks so much shit while he was in presidency, from what we were told.
And I feel that probably this will help us have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation.
So if you knew that Nigeria is not a nation, this criminal man from Bayelsa, I don't know how we become one, if not the British criminal that put us together. You knew that Nigeria was not one, yet you went ahead and enjoyed Nigeria for the period of time that you were there. When Musa Yar'Adua died, that one died in Germany. They wanted to defend and say he's still alive. So Jonathan knew that Nigeria is not one nation, yet he was running multiple nations, and you expect him to succeed, to achieve all his aims and objectives for you and me. He probably achieved for his people, just like Tinubu is doing the same thing. It's called nepotism. There's nothing bad in it. And like we always say, the Igbos will never be the president of the Federal Republic of... The North will rather kill every single one of you. They're not going to allow you to become president. So all these ones that Peter Obi is running up and down, you better go and support Biafra. He's another criminal politician from the Southeast. He always tried to make himself like he's innocent. Took money out of Nigeria and go and put it in offshore. Why didn't he put it in the Nigerian bank? Because they don't trust that system. They're all criminals. Criminals. Your end is coming. How soon will leave that?
It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Accredited. He can't even come out and say, me, self, I don't go study. I know that Nigeria is not a country. He's scared. They are all criminals. Criminals, politicians. But the stupid Nigerians, the Mumu Nigerians, the Omugo Nigerians, they say we are proud. They will even tell you I am a proud Nigerian. I am a proud Nigerian. Tell British that you want to visit museum to come and see all the stolen artifacts that they stole from Benin Kingdom, Yoruba Kingdom, Ijaw Kingdom. Tell them, just go and apply for a visa that you just want to visit. They will know that you want to japa. You are not visiting any museum. Yet, they tell you we're one Commonwealth. Shit, oh Commonwealth. Commonwealth that doesn't represent you, doesn't represent me. The time is now for you to think and reflect. You are an indigenous person. You have the right to have your own country. Nobody can stop you. But you must be determined. If you're waiting for Jonathan, you're waiting for Yemi Osibajo, the shortman devil, all these criminal politicians, how they become pastor, imam, I don't even understand. They are all criminals, and criminals must be stopped. They've used Nigeria for their own gain. It is time that you stop it so that you can become who you are as the indigenous people, so that you can see a better life. You will not see a better life in Jesus' name in Nigeria. Amen. Inshallah. You will not. If you try to upturn my prayer, it no go better for your papa and your mama. Nigeria will never be great. It will go down. It will die in our generation. British will cry. Britain will cry. America will cry if they do not support the breakup. If they support it, it will be in their own interest. We will run parallel governments and we can help them to succeed. But they cannot dictate with their fake embassies across every part of Nigeria and telling us that Nigeria will be a great place. We don't need to go to America. We want to remain in Yoruba land. We want to remain in Biafra land, in Hausa land, and succeed, but not as one fake country called Nigeria. It no go better for anybody. If your pastor pray for Nigeria, it no go better for that pastor for telling us lies for 64 years. It no go better for any one of them. I don't care whoever they are. Dumb bastard.
The former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, "It is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the..."
Because we know that you are criminals. You are not talking loosely. From Tinubu is a criminal, Jonathan is a criminal, Atiku is a criminal, all your governors are criminal, the Southeast governor criminal, the Northern governor criminal, the Middle Belt criminal, the Southwest criminal. So they're going to talk loosely and defend a fake country called Nigeria. That's what they're going to do. They would defend Nigeria because Nigeria is their pot of soup. And we must put sand inside that pot of soup. How are we going to put that sand? We will leave that to ourselves because we're not going to give too much information on the social media. But what we are doing is what they call the media war. Using medias from this platform and other platforms that are dedicated. Gbogbo media tó bá náà ń ṣe Yorùbá nation tí kò bá ṣe tọkàntọkàn ilẹ̀ máa mú, including myself. Gbogbo media tó bá náà ń ṣe Yorùbá nation tí kò bá ṣe tọkàntọkàn, including Ọláyọmí Kóìkì, ilẹ̀ máa mú gbogbo yín àtèmi náà tó bá yẹ pé àṣẹ pẹ̀lú òtítọ́. Ilẹ̀ máa mú yín. If you think that this is about a joke, it's about life. Many lives is at stake. And you don't joke with people's life. If you don't want to do Yoruba nation, you can go away and stop distracting people. We have many people that are talking about penis, breast, all kind of nonsense on social media. But don't come and deceive anybody that you are fighting for Yoruba nation and you're not fighting it with true heart. Because ilema yọ gbogbo yín, including myself, tó bá jẹ́ pé rọ́lá ń pa fún yín. You think this generation will be as stupid as this stupid Afenifere and the rest of all these bomb bastard elderly people that have destroyed our lives. Criminal politicians. We are talking loosely. Is it today? How can you return back to democracy from 1999 and people's lives are still upside down? From 1999, your life is still upside down. Hey, Rayegbe, and you say, well, pray for one Nigeria. You know, go better for you as you say you won't pray for one Nigeria. From your church to your mosque, if they pray for one Nigeria, you know, go better for every one of them. Which one Nigeria are we praying for? Even those in the Europe. We are praying for one God, where God give us good leader. Yeah, God give you a good leader, a drug baron, Tinubu. God give you a good leader, a drunkard like Jonathan. Asarido, what's that criminal one that stole the shit out of Nigeria and brought it to Europe? I don't remember again. I got me triple DRS. The one he got sentenced in the not Ike Keremadu, the one that was sentenced here in London. He has returned back to Nigeria. Another criminal politician. We saw him with Tinubu. Forgot his name now. He was a former governor. He was arrested and did his prison service here in the UK. And the UK are smart. They took money out of him. He's still fighting to get some of the money. I don't can't remember his name now. Ibori Eshegoni. Olori Buruku Ibori. Ole. Of 419. And you where you can't even buy. Look, my child just finished having good meat. Big meat I give him, he don't chop. It's good to be back home, but I've also missed Africa. Can't wait to be back again. Especially when you have, family from both sides, one here, one on the other side. Iborio Libeni. Let's go back and listen to criminal politicians. I'm sure when Tinubu finishes his term as well, he will come and tell us, Awolowo, Baba Awolowo say Nigeria is a mere joke. I'm sure Tinubu will do the same thing like Jonathan when he completes his 8 years, if you give him the opportunity. He's already starting 8 years campaign. They've not even run a government. Government never finished. They are already campaigning for 2027. 2027 is still 2 years down the line. Is it the right time to be seeing a campaign vehicle of Tinubu moving up and down? Is it the right time? No, I'm asking you. Let's even forget about Yoruba nation, Biafra, Hausa nation, Ijaw nation. Is it appropriate that this government should be driving a campaign vehicle when election is still in 2027? It's not like the vehicle says 2023. It says Tinubu for 2027. The campaign buses has already started driving across the whole of Abuja. Shane, you're right. I'm asking because I don't know. Do you think it's right? Is that appropriate? Should that be the right thing to do at this junction? There's inflation, there's insecurity. Many people don't have a jobs. Àwọn èèyàn èèyàn kan ti pa sínú London Bridge, 3rd Mainland Bridge. She didn't survive it. You think it's easy? Could jump láti inú òkè lọ sísàlẹ̀. They rescued her, but it was too late. So why are we telling lies to each other that we are one nation? Which one nation? We are not one nation. We are many nations. We are many nations, and we are saying that the appropriate thing for Tinubu to do right now is to divide Nigeria. But he will run his own show, and then he will run away. Then after a couple of months, he will come back and start talking like Jonathan. Because Jonathan was in office. He couldn't do to divide Nigeria. He was also looking for second term until Buhari say blood and baboon will happen if you don't go.
Unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria.
Is the evidence. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. Then why do we need to keep it? Why? And that is why the self-determination under the leadership of Professor Banji Akntoye. Let's leave Were Jonathan alone. We've had the fact that 60 years ago, there was nothing called Nigeria. 60 years ago. So if there was nothing called Nigeria 60 years ago, why are we defending it now at 64, at 65? Oh, Nigeria will be 65 in October. Abike Dabiri said we should celebrate Nigeria. It will go better for every one of them. One is Shorire. So because Abike Dabiri said we should celebrate Nigeria as diaspora, come and invest in Nigeria, diaspora, come back home, diaspora. We are proud of the diaspora, Nigerian diaspora. No, why are we not proud as Yoruba diaspora, Biafra diaspora, Hausa diaspora, Ijaw diaspora? Why should we be proud of a shit-hole country called Nigeria? They can. I even those you diaspora, I even don't understand. You can't even. They can't even give you the opportunity to vote. I think Ghana, if I'm right, got me triple DRS. I can Google it, but I just want to check. I think Ghana citizens can vote from abroad. I think Ghanaians can vote from abroad. I'm not sure. I could look it up. I'm sure some African countries, they can vote, they are citizens. We're a giant of Africa. Giant of Africa cannot allow its diaspora to vote, but they can collect our dollars, our pound sterling, our Canadian dollars with our sweat, but they don't want us to vote. For 25 years, they couldn't set up diaspora voting system for us. Ben Okoya say, anybody praying will get sick. In Jesus' name, pray for Nigeria. Let's look it up. Let me check Google. Can Ghana diaspora vote? Okay, so they are unable to vote as well. It is troubling. Ghanaians in diaspora are unable to vote. Ghanaians voting abroad. When South Africa staged its first democratic multiracial election in 1994, a group of Ghanaians, including me, went to South Africa House in Trafalgar Square. So Ghana as well is like Nigeria. They're not going to allow them to vote. So which African country? You can see why. Yeah, I don't think, I've checked it already. I don't think so as well, yeah. Nigeria should be the one leading and Ghana will follow. But the giant of ants cannot lead anything. All they need is our money. If you work $1,000 a month, just send $300 home to support somebody for healthcare, school, food. And it's meant to be giant of Africa. How long are we going to be doing all that for? So this is the time that we say enough is enough. Let's go further and listen to this crazy politician before we move to the next stage.
What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. This is accredited to Sir Amadou Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country.
And by the will of the power of the people, that will stop. These, British intention to keep us together, to tell us lies with their embassy set up in that crazy zoo country and put that ambassador there and tell Nigerian lies and create all kind of programs. I saw it all the time. They go all over the place. We are doing a program where we don't need their scholarship. Why should Yoruba people need their scholarship if we have our own country? They use that to take big and give us small. Oh yeah, how many people are going to go for one scholarship in UK? But we only need 10 people out of 60 million Yoruba people. They would deceive us. Giant of backwardness. You're right, triple DRS. Do you know that Britain is smart? They will, they do all kind of different programs. They only select 20. That 20 are the best, and they don't make them return back to Nigeria. They keep them in abroad, working for all their multinational companies. Why you, Mumu? Katrina Lang told you to go and get your PVC and vote. She has run now out of Nigeria. I think she's in Sudan, from what I heard. Stupid people allow the gullible ones to deceive intelligent people like us that Nigeria will be great. Can they swear with their Bible, with their Quran, and their tradition? I'm talking about those telling you that Nigeria will be great. Can they come and swear that Nigeria will be great? Everybody knows that Nigeria can never be great. It is a dead country. You can't get justice for anybody. Like I look at when we say we're looking for justice. Did we get justice for Dele Giwa? The people that killed Fela's mother, we didn't get justice for them. Abish Fela's mother that died, we didn't get justice for her. So you're now talking about justice in 2022, 2023, 2024. All the ones that happened in the 80s, even the Chief Justice under that evil man that called himself Obasanjo, he couldn't get justice for the family of Bola Ige. Is that not crazy? Is that not crazy? That they can't even get justice for Chief Justice of Nigeria. And today we are looking for justice for Mohbad. Who killed Mohbad? Did we know who killed Bola Ige? We know who killed Dele Giwa because Babangida killed Dele Giwa. We have just about 25 minutes to the end of the broadcast. It will not be more than 3 hours. But before you run away, how many people are going to support us moving forward? Because there's a lot of work to be done ahead and we have limited time. So let me leave Jonathan quickly because I want to take us back to Dr. Fakbonda and then we'll use the last 15 minutes to say thank you to our real donor. Thank you so much, Clement. It's a Biafra, like I always say, that contribute on this platform. We saw his contribution yesterday and we're always grateful. Thank you to Triple DRS, Ifagbemi Leke, even my mom. My mom spent over 5,000 pounds on my trip that we just came back. I don't expect my mom to pick up the bill again. So I hope and pray that many Yoruba people will come to my aid so that we can prepare for the next phase of our movement. When is the rally going to start? Baba Akntoye spoke this evening. He will tell you exactly when. He's the only one that has the authority to tell us when the rally will kickstart. Let's just listen quickly to Dr. Fakbonda just for a few more minutes and then we'll come out of that.
Attention car owners, there's a free tool right here that could get you thousands of pounds in compensation.
Do you buy into that or do you think no?
Well, sadly, we cannot take away June 12. If you are wearing a white cloth to an occasion, and you have a red spot on it,
a stain,
you will go back and discard the dress and wear a new one. June 12 has stained all his achievements. Okay, where is the achievement now? We have only 3,000 megawatts of power.
Yeah.
We are owing 141 trillion naira in debt.
Yeah.
We have a deficit of 14 trillion in budget of this year. The indiscipline that it brought about, last year budget cannot be implemented, it spill over to 2025. It brought in impunity. You know, you can build a house, but you destroy it with grenade. It takes grenade to bring a house down now. You can build a house for 10 years, but one act will just bring the whole thing collapsing.
So your point is that with
That's not the truth.
Your point is that with June 12, there's nothing else to save in the story or legacy of IBB. Is that correct?
I speak to all Nigerians who are around 30 years old who don't know what happened in those days.
Yes.
Why are Nigerians jackpotting overseas now? The country has become ungovernable. Even in states, Niger State, 1/4 of it is occupied by bandits.
God bless this, our uncle for us. He say, Inshallah, in Jesus' name. He has stated everything. I know deep down, these are Yoruba nation people. They don't need to tell me. But they just have to say that, maybe a restructured Nigeria will work for where? And heaven will only help those that help themselves. Nobody is coming to help us. We need to help ourselves now. Don't be distracted with all this banter. I mean, it's good to have, I mean, it's good to wind down. We can't keep everything as Yoruba Nation. I wind down as well. I go and see things that are not Yoruba Nation. I was watching a movie. If you have Netflix, I've watched it before, but my staff thought I've not watched it. And he says, can you please watch this? I'm just receiving a message from my mom. MK Abiola was also a criminal. There's no type of illegal activity he was not involved in. That is David Odoye. My mom just sent that to me. We'll try and listen to it because my mom cannot give information that I will not play. So we listen to that in a minute. So if you have Netflix, it's just under 1 hour, 1.5 hours. I was watching a movie. I'll give you the name. The one I watched on the plane is called The Last Sniper. I'm sure some of you remember I told you that. And in case you don't know The Last Sniper, that is what it looks like. Some people have watched it. It's called The Last Sniper. I watched it twice before I returned back to London from Africa. The Last Sniper. We don't need a lot of people when the time comes. We just need people that can think, strategize, and make things happen. So the one that I was told to go and watch, which I did, I watched it because when I put it on Netflix, I said, it's called Silverton Siege. Silverton Siege. If you have Netflix or Amazon or anyhow you can watch any of this movie, some of you in Nigeria or Yoruba land rather, because we know, even though it's still a country, but we hope it's going to go down. We can stop calling it shit or Nigeria. We can start using our official. But since that's what people still recognize are outside Nigeria, until a Yoruba will be fully declared, then we can start calling ourselves an independent Yoruba country. The Silverton Siege is under 1 hour 30 minutes. The movie came out in 2022, but this Last Sniper, I believe, is a new movie that just came out, 2025, 1 hour 39 minutes. I watched it twice on my flight coming back to London last week. Beautiful. This just shows that all we need in life is prepare our mind. And I'll just leave it like that. So before we go, my mom, like I said, sent me something on Twitter of David Odoye. We know he's not a supporter of Yoruba Nation or Biafra, but we know MK Abiola was another criminal. A criminal Yoruba man. Even though we know that we don't want him to have been killed by Fulani. And I hope that they're not going to kill Tinubu because we are praying for him every day. No matter what, we still pray for Tinubu. A lot of people don't pray for him. They want him to die. But I'm not going to pray that he should die. I want him to witness Yoruba Nation in his lifetime. But we're not going to give him any room. So let's listen to David Odoye. I'm going to take a little bit break upstairs just to stretch my leg. Let me close some of these things because this laptop I'm using, I'm surprised it's holding. I didn't realize or expect this laptop to hold this much. We still need your help as support to our lower. There's a lot that we want to do and we are spending money every day. So let's listen to David Odoye. And the title is...
There was the original...
Wait, just wait before you go. Let's revisit this clip. MK Abiola was also a criminal. There is no type of illegal activity he was not involved in. We know that. And we will not say because he's a Yoruba man and we will protect him. We will bring every one of them out. If MKO children wants to die, let them die. That's their problem. Their father was a criminal. He was involved in many coups. Oh, you look beautiful. Now I have to come and pay for this L. You see? So let's listen quickly. Thank you so much, Peter Lade. Somebody says, I quote on the comment section there, Koiki, be very careful with Britain so that they don't do what to me. Koiki, please kindly be careful so that the evil UK people will not betray you like they did to Nnamdi Kanu. Thank you so much for the advice. I appreciate. At least since they're holding Nnamdi Kanu, people are still fighting, is it? They thought if they're holding Nnamdi Kanu, that will be the end of Biafra. Rather, Nnamdi Kanu, even after 4 years, is still strong. And we hope that next week there will be a great outcome. But Tinubu is not going to release Nnamdi Kanu. I'm sorry to tell you that. I pray and I wish he does. But Tinubu doesn't want to release Nnamdi Kanu. He's using Nnamdi Kanu as his last checkup for the Fulanese. That if you do any shaggy banza for me, I will release this young man back to the southeast. And the Northerners want Tinubu to return power back to them. So they're all playing with our lives. I hope you get the message. Tinubu is not going to release Nnamdi Kanu. It's a fact. Nnamdi Kanu is like the bone that is stuck in Nigeria. You release him, it's a problem. You don't release him, now wahala. Nnamdi Kanu is like a, you know when you are eating fish and the bone gets stuck somewhere there, you go cry. So thank you so much for your advice. I trust no one anyway, so I only trust my wife and my children and my mom. And I'm always careful. So thanks for the advice. And we don't joke with any advice. Because as they're watching me like this, many of them are enemies. Enemies of Yoruba nation. Enemies of Biafra. Enemies of even the Hausa nation. Enemies of the Ijaw nation. So definitely their target is Koiki Media. Somebody say, add volume to your voice. I hope you will give me more money so that we can buy more equipment. The laptop needs upgrade. I'm trying to raise my voice, but as usual, it might be no see me. Let me first be sure, because I always have to be very careful when I'm showing things online. So let me show you this. There's something I'm looking at eBay that will enhance our production. You know, you have to keep buying things all the time anyway. So let me quickly go on my eBay. There's something, you know, eBay is the only place I can get cheap stuff. So few things I'm looking at eBay, and I hope that there's one now that they've given me offer. So these are things that will enhance our production. The wireless mic. So if you see, every day we're bidding, we're looking at something, we're trying our best, but all these things are not cheap. So if you see BBC that has gadget, it's because we are paying them good money, so they can buy good gadget. If you see Sky News, they have good advert. If you see CNN, Mike Adenuga is part of those giving them money as advert. So you can see this one, they've outbid me already. I'm looking forward to buy this, a Rhoda mic. At the moment it's 30 pounds. I don't know what is going to be the end of it. So with this now, I can have it here, and then I can, not that we don't have this, we, you know, when you have many staff. Today, we still bought one in Yoruba land, almost 50,000 for one of our staff. So that's why we keep saying support us, you know, so that we can enhance and have good production. And we thank those that are still supporting. So let's listen to this young man, because my time is almost up. His name is David Odoye, talking about the criminal MK Abiola that was killed by another criminal, Babangida. Imagine, you know. So the volume, you know. So let's, and the problem is, if I had issue with this when I was in Africa. So you know that the other one I was using, it was giving problem with our Africa. So let's listen to David Odoye.
original Tinubu who went by the name MK Abiola. If you
of course, yes.
And
June 12th.
Yes, despite all of his wealth and all of his money was made under very similar circumstances, by the way, because MK was also a criminal. Let's be clear about that. There's no type of illegal activity that man was not involved in. Gun running, coup financing, smuggling of every kind of illegal or illegal commodity, his hand was inside, right? And he made a fantastic fortune. And despite all of his money, that presidency that he wanted, they just made sure they did not.
Yeah, but that was different era. IBB, Abacha, right? That was a different era. Abacha wanted to be president. Abacha was the man. Abacha and IBB, and so IBB says to himself.
What you told me now is that the men then had ambition, but there are no men with ambitions now.
No, that's what my point is, that the Nigerian system, the way the Nigerian system has been set up, it doesn't work for the Nigerian common man. People like you and I and millions of Nigerians, it doesn't work for us. The elite has their own way of thinking.
Yeah, and they also and that's the same in every society. But the thing is, the elites used to at least have a little understanding of like optics.
But Nigeria is never been used. When you have a man like Abacha loot $3 billion,
so more. Again, part of the story,
8 billion.
Part of the story that has been forgotten is that yes, IBB looted a shit ton of money with Abacha, but very crucially, it wasn't in the open. It wasn't like you had to be in the know to know.
I agree.
But on the surface, they were actually pretending to govern, right? And then people like MKO, characters like MKO, the establishment did not like them.
Yeah, Abacha was like, you're coming to mess up things for...
The establishment is not like them. And it wasn't necessarily because of any, like, personality clash or something. MKO and IBB were friends. MKO financed IBB school, by the way. They were very good friends, right? MKO was friends with most of these military officers, including Abacha. But the thing is, they understood, or they thought that this thing that you want, like Nigeria has given you everything, or you've made everything from Nigeria. You did the ITT scam, you made billions from that. There's nothing illegal that happened in Nigeria between 1978 and 1992 that MK Abiola's hand was not inside. That man made billions from everything that was wrong. Basically, the reason why we didn't have telephones, like we didn't really have telephone in Nigeria till 2001, was MK Abiola. The ITT thing. That was him. He basically got a huge contract to provide the backbone for telephony in Nigeria. And it turned out to be a contract scam. He just pocketed the money and he didn't fucking do the work.
Wow.
That's where a large part of his fortune came from.
Wow.
So in their mind, they were like, we have, and obviously the military was in power when all of this happened. Yeah. So they knew, like, he was their friend. They shared the money together. So they knew that you are a crook, right? We are also crooks, but in addition to being crooks, we are also pretending to be statesmen. There's nothing statesman-like about you. You're just a crook. That's all you are. You are literally just a criminal. There's nothing else to be said about you. We don't want you.
What more do you want me to add to it? I should come and defend MK Abiola. No go better for your papa. You want me to come and defend MKO and say MKO is a good man. MKO is a good man. Good man to whoever thinks so. Criminal to those that believe is a criminal. So as I'm going to be ending the program, is exactly 2 hours, 53 minutes. This is the time that we also want you to help us on this, our channel, so that we can, not just to share the program, about fund the channel. Funding is what is most important. If you don't fund it, Channels Television will be preparing for election 2027 to deceive Nigerians, arise and everything. So we need to challenge them. So we need to have our own tentacles across every part of Nigeria if possible, and stand on one thing: Nigeria must break. And that can be done with the new technology. We don't need big office. Now, back in the days, they need big office. Just get the staff, give them the equipment that they need, and we will all operate together as we are doing from my studio in London. They will be doing across every part of Yoruba land and everywhere as well. So I hope some of you will continue to support us. You know, we need that support all the time, and we pray that God will give you enough to support as well. So I'll be ending this program. Tebashe Darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, you have to back. Baba Akntoye started the discussion, and then after he spoke to the world media, I picked it up from there to do a bit of more analysis and discussion. We remain very strong, and I say, if I have the strength as usual, we catch up. You know me. If otherwise, it will be another day where we come back again. When are we coming out for the rally? Baba Akntoye would decide and tell us exactly when. But for everyone that has never followed the discussion of Yoruba Nation, this is the time to reflect and be truthful as a bona fide Yoruba. Don't worry about, you want to collect money from Seyi Tinubu. Seyi Tinubu is another criminal. He's just taking his father's step, donating food all over the northern part of Nigeria. It's exactly the same style that his father used. So he's following the father footstep. Many people are hungry in Yoruba land. He's donating food to all part of the north. The food that he should be donating to Yoruba people, he's taking it to the north. So he's just following his father's footstep. They're both criminals. But one thing that matters is, we, this generation, we stand shoulder to shoulder to tell them that it is not going to be business as usual. And we mean every word. And we are determined. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you've had a great evening with me. Mr. Kinlade Akindemeji, thank you. But the Mose Smiler, thank you so much. Wasiu Olanipekun, thank you so much. Olamilekan Pe, Mokibugbe Yenwa, Kakiri Bubitati Bomini Ashale. My name is Olayomi Koiki, popularly known as Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. We're on Twitter. If you have any things you want to share with me, info@koikimedia.com. You can reach out to me on my studio number or my also other numbers if you have them. You can support. Those are the account details that are scrolling. For those of you that can see it on the, and we're not going to be on Koiki Media YouTube again because we've got a suspension for a video. I think it's got to do with Showore's brother that was killed by Fulani terrorists. But YouTube decided to flag it down. After, it's like almost 2 years. So, but it's okay. It's one of those things. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemi. Say good journalism. We are grateful to have you, Koiki Media. And like I said, ẹni tó bá ṣe kú ṣẹyẹ nínú Yorùbá Nation, any media, ilẹ̀ máa yọ̀, including myself. Tó bá ṣe kú ṣẹyẹ nínú ìrìn àjò yìí, ilẹ̀ máa yọ̀ ẹ́. I will leave you like that. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. There'll be ample of time to watch other videos. In Nigeria, you're tired already, but the time is getting closer. I will leave you like that. I've been told that my platform, as we're talking about the rally, they have injected more agents underneath the platform. So, if you're not sure, or also dear, wọ́n ti caution mi pé Koiki, àwọn agent oríṣiríṣi wọ́n ti embedded in your platform. Wọ́n fi mọ in tó ń sọ nípa bí rally ṣe fẹ́ dé nǹkan kan. So the rally will come and I'll just leave it like that. But like I said, èmi náà délé tán. If tẹ́ bá tètè support wa, kẹ́ bá wa dáwó sí account wa ká lè. 1 or 2 people can buy my ticket. I'm sure you can do it. Ọlọ́run àfọyín ṣe. Also, ẹ má gbàgbé ẹ dáwọ́ sí Ẹwà Ọ̀rànmíyàn. Very important. The money will be needed for a lot of logistics and things. And for those that are saying that rally kan ló kàn, àwọn ta ló mọ àwọn yẹn rí? Kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ wọ́n now. So why people are worried about them is what I don't understand. Sometimes You know, ẹ máa gbé message wọn wá sínú group and all that. We don't need all that. Kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ wọ́n. I am more popular than Dúpọ̀ Onítìrì tẹ́ ń sọ yẹn. Kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀ Dúpọ̀ Onítìrì ní Nàìjíríà. Fraudster ni, criminal ni. Ó ń sá káàkiri. She can't even come home. I was in Africa. Everybody saw me. I'm back in London. Let your Dúpọ̀ Onítìrì go back to Africa. Let us see her. She can't because she's hiding. So thank you so much to my wives, my children. You know, they have to endure again. I'm back again at home. Slow the TV. My wife is sleeping. I have to reduce the volume. It's not easy. So, but Allah fún wa ṣe. A very good evening, Olamilekan Oluṣesi. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà ní Belfast. We didn't play our anthem when we started. I will use that to close the broadcast. And I say good evening and thank you so much to those of you. The numbers was good because I know probably maybe it's because I was speaking in English. We had 94 people watching me on Twitter. It's very great. Numbers of people are listening and the Instagram is back as well. I am your last man standing. No Yoruba nation, there will be no Nigeria. Yoruba will come out of Nigeria whether they like it or not. It does not matter how it's going to happen. It can happen on the round table or it can happen through the M1. Odaro.
Kashishe, kashishe, kashishe.